What's up, YouTube? DMP the Gamer here. We are on 2K. Gonna talk a little bit about the NBA, a little bit about the WNBA. I did have it scheduled for the high school league, I know, but right now we're just going to go through just teams, big moves, just teams in general. I'm gonna have some videos in the background of mostly mostly just talking about the teams and the trades that happened uh, and just what to do, like what's next pretty much for each team going ahead. So right now we're going to start with the Sixers. I also got someone that wanted to join me. Let me see if I can get him in here before we actually start. All right. If I sent them an invite, we'll see if he joins up. But for right now, I think everyone else that I know of, they're not on right now to talk basketball or NBA with me. But he'll probably join us here in a little bit. I'm gonna get straight to it with the Sixers. Everyone knows the moves that they made. It's one of the big moves of this offseason with them acquiring PG. A lot of the videos I got in the background are going to be from Legend of Winning. Go check him out. The Low Podcast, the Low Post, his YouTube channel. Go check him out. And then it's going to be some videos as well from Numbers on the Board. Their podcast. Great basketball minds. Great fans. Just get all your information. Not all your
It's
information.
easy to feel good about the choices
Here we
you
go.
make. When those choices
You got an ad right there.
PG, do you understand what business hours are? This is
So
like
here
the
we
second
go.
time you've made a deal in the middle of the night, like literally 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
This is from a month ago. This is from when it happened.
Been waiting for,
So,
rumored about, has finally happened. Paul George, it is official. It's now a Philadelphia
right.
76ers.
So
This is huge news, not only for Philly, but
they
of course
picked up
the Los
PG,
Angeles Clippers, because
of
there's
course.
a lot, and I do mean a lot to talk about.
And then they also picked up Caleb Martin from the Heat, but I don't think they made a trade or anything. Yeah, Kyle Lowry. Alright, maybe they did make a trade because Kyle Lowry and Caleb. But these are updated rosters right now on 2K of the teams. They also picked up Drummond. That's a good pickup. They select KJ, Reggie Jackson, Eric Gordon.
We knew this was going to happen. Like I stated before, several reports claiming that PG and the Clippers were not on the same page. They even tried to do the trade with the Warriors to send PG to play alongside Steph Curry, but that was through,
going to go.
Then left
It was either, I would have liked him to go to the Magic or Clay to go to the Magic, but none of that happened. At least the Magic got KCP. They still got a shooter to help them out, but not another like upper level star to help Paulo.
$212 million. Now, is PG worth basically $50 million on a year-to-year basis? Of course not. With this type of money, you'll be the second or third highest paid player in the NBA, depending on how much money LeBron signs for. And Paul George shouldn't be anywhere near close in that conversation.
He took a
not
pay
even
cut.
5, 10, or even
Talking
15
about LeBron.
in his career. However,
he took a pay cut for nothing. I'm a Lakers fan, so going off of that, just got nothing for him taking that pay cut. Thought we were gonna get at least that with him.
God knows who PG's going to be at 38, making that type of money, but nevertheless, you go all in because you're trying to maximize.
But this is going to be a nice squad with Joel, Maxey, PG. Trying to see how they would do their starting lineup. But they have Oubre. I think Oubre started a little bit. No, he came off the bench, I feel like, for Tobias. And that's another thing.
Continue to
Tobias
make
is
the most
not
out of
there
this
anymore.
opportunity
Tobias
by
went to the
bringing in
Pistons,
Eric
if I'm not
Gordon,
mistaken.
bringing
But we're
back
gonna get to
Kelly
them.
Oubre, and bringing back even Andre Drummond as a backup five.
But right
All
now,
of this basically happened yesterday,
going off
filling out
of
the roster, making them more of a complete team. And honestly, this all makes sense. Drummond is a backup big, which we've been desperately
Drummond will be
needing for
good.
God knows how
Help
long.
back
Kelly
up
Oubre,
Embiid.
defensive-oriented wing, complements what you're trying to do.
Right.
And also someone like Eric Gordon coming off the bench, a veteran presence,
Right.
a bit more consistency. It's something that you've been lacking in terms of a secondary ball handler potentially. I love all of these moves, and these are all necessaries for the Sixers to really be taken serious in an Eastern Conference that
Long as
honestly
they
is only
get
being dominated
past
by one team right now.
the
because
second
I do think
round
a lot of other teams in the Eastern
and
Conference
get to that
should
conference
be
finals,
really, really
it'll look
scary
good on
what
them.
they now
At least
see
for the
on
first
Sixers.
year.
Of course, a lot
I'm
of
not
ifs
expecting
have
them to
happen,
just
in
go
particular
straight
with
to the
Embiid and his
finals.
health. But if
I mean,
Embiid
it's
is
a good
healthy,
squad,
if
don't
Paul
get me
George is
wrong,
healthy,
but
if this team
it's
can
not
really figure it
it's
out
not like
within the
that.
next
Like, I'm
handful of
not
months, I would
expecting
easily say
them
not only
just
are the
to
Sixers
go
the
straight to
second
the
best team in the
finals.
Eastern
Like everyone
Conference,
was
but they
expecting the
should be
Bucks
able to
last year
compete
after
with
they
the Boston
acquired
Celtics
Dame
because the matchup
to
problem
go
with
straight to the
Embiid
finals.
does
I'm
present
not
something that the
expecting that
Celtics may
from
not
them.
have
But
an
if they go to the
answer
conference
without
finals,
Horford
that'll be
getting older,
great.
and
It'll
you
be a
never really
great
know
one.
with Porzingis
But
and his health issues
they
as
got
well.
a
So
good
Houston for the Philadelphia
competition
76ers
going on
looked
in
kind
the
of
East.
shaky there because it looked like you
It's
might have
not
James
like
Harden
heavy,
didn't get
but the
nothing in
East is
return for him
looking
whatsoever,
good.
not being
It's
able to
looking a little
replace
good.
another
I
star
ain't
in his
gonna lie.
absence. But
Celtics still
you
looking
did what you need to
favored,
do. Crazy
but there's
price
still
point, but
some
it was
other
necessary trying to maximize
guys out there,
Embiid
other
in the
teams
last
out
couple of
there
years of
that
his
can
contract. Now moving on
cause
to the
some
Los Angeles
problems.
Clippers, and let's just say it. The whole
All
Paul
right,
George and
so we're
Kawhi
gonna
Leonard
skip
era,
right here real
massive
quick.
disappointment. Underwhelming.
Onto the
And the
Clippers.
trade
They
that
really
everybody's been
didn't do
talking about,
nothing.
the trade that got Paul George and effectively also got
Excuse me.
Kawhi Leonard
So
to commit to the Clippers, will go down as
after
the
losing
worst
PG, they
trade
really
in
didn't do
NBA
nothing.
history. As the Clippers
Kawhi
gave
and
up SGA,
Harden
you
right
could very
now.
well argue at his trajectory, he is better than anyone that the Clippers have ever had on their roster in franchise history, let alone an
I'm not
aging
100%
Kawhi
sure
Leonard
if
and who
PJ's
Paul
still
George
over
has
there.
been throughout his time with the Clippers. And they also gave up a lot of draft capital, some of which is already translated to some
Yeah, they
quality
lost a
players
lot
in
of
the
draft
NBA,
picks, so I
such
don't
as
know what their
Jalen Williams,
future
J-Dub
is
out with OKC,
intended,
and
like
a
what they're
Miami Heat pick that turned
intending
out
to
to
do
be
with their
piping hot
future.
gas. That's how
There's
much
also
the Clippers
another
gave
team
up
that
for
we'll
an
get
era of
to
basketball
after this that
basically
I
got to
don't
conclude
understand
with
what
a
they're
second-round
doing at
exit
all.
after blowing a
But we'll get
3-1
to
lead
them
against the Denver
after
Nuggets,
this.
a conference finals appearance in a Western Conference that was riddled with a bunch of injuries, not
Right.
making the playoffs in 2022, and back-to-back first-round exits.
Yeah,
Underwhelming to say the least.
them
No
just
championships,
because
never made
Kawhi
the
just
finals, and
every
more
year
first-round
getting
exits
injured
than
is just
conference
makes
finals
it worse
appearances.
and
The
worse.
definition of failure. And what's even
Yeah.
crazier to me is I'm sitting here watching people on the
Thought
timeline,
they
people
were
who are
gonna
part of
do
the
good.
media, try to justify or say, everybody would have done what they did. You tried to go out there and you win, and that's exactly what Steve Ballmer did. He threw a bunch of money out there to try to go out there and piece together a championship roster. And sure, let's say hypothetically speaking, we're going to give them that type of bail, even though it's crazy to me. Every single media member has been ultra critical on every other team in the NBA outside of the Clippers, despite the fact that going back to 2019, in the summer of 2019, when all these other teams were really piecing together their rosters to make a run for the next 5 to 6 years, the Clippers
Everybody
have been
was
the most
highly
underwhelming team out of all of them. Yet here we are, and people shooting bail for them. Let's
right.
use the injury excuse.
Everybody
That is
was
a
high on
reasonable for a
them
team
back
that
then,
constantly dealt with those
before
injuries. But when you're
2020 and
at the point where you are
2019,
right
after
now, I
Kawhi
ask
left
you,
the
what
Raptors,
exactly
and then
were
they
the
had
Clippers
teamed up
playing
him and
heading into
PG.
this offseason?
Everybody
When
was
you went
high
to go
on
trade for
them, and
James
then
Harden,
it just
you
went
knew
downhill
that this
from there
offseason was
after
coming. You
injury
knew that
after
you were going to have to
injury
give PG
with
money and
Kawhi.
James Harden money
So
because you knew that was a situation. And you're going to have to do that
then the
right
money
after you gave
thing,
Kawhi
PG
Leonard his
leaving
contract
because he
extension.
wasn't
So
getting the
why
same
make
as
the trade for
Kawhi,
James Harden
even
if
though
you
he
weren't
was
willing to
trying to
sign the
take a
checks
back
over and give it
seat
to the
and
players?
be
What are you doing?
a co-star instead of being the superstar. He
We're not
still
leaving
wanted to get
2,500
paid
points
the
so fast.
same as
But
Kawhi.
fine, let's just
So
say you thought the money for
yeah,
PG was way too
Clippers
much,
let him
especially with
go,
the new CBA
which
second
is
tax apron. Okay, cool.
which is
I mean, Ballmer apparently
understanding,
he got the money though, so
but
I don't know why
at the
he
same
afraid to
time
spend the money. But okay,
there
cool,
was
cool.
nothing going on
But
out
then
here.
you allow Paul George to
Like
walk for
Kawhi
nothing
keep
though?
getting hurt.
Nothing?
James
Very, very
Harden's not
mindful that the
the
Golden State
James
Warriors
Harden of
had an
old.
offer on the table for the Clippers to receive something for Paul George, and they denied it. They actually told the
Yeah,
Clippers,
the
we'd much
Warriors
rather
trade
just
would have been
watch
probably
Paul
better.
George
At
walk
least they
in
would have
free
got
agency
something back
for
in return.
nothing. What sense does that make? You know what makes it worse and how a lot of Clipper fans is delusional? Some of y'all are sitting here saying, pip, pip, hooray, or at least we got James Harden. He's on the deal. Harden Harden's deal that he signed just yesterday is a 2-year deal with his second year as a player option, meaning that more or less, if this team does not look like a title contending team or at least a playoff team in the next 8 months, at any point James Harden can just say, trade me, because that's basically what he did with the Brooklyn Nets as well. So in my opinion, Harden signed that deal more or less to just guarantee that, hey, I'm going to get my money, and after like 6 to 8
tripping.
months down the line, when we get to the deadline,
tripping
I'm
right
going to
now.
probably just demand a trade because I highly doubt that the Clippers are going to be in position to do anything of substance in this
They
next
still got
upcoming
this to
year.
1
And
year.
even if
But
he doesn't do
but
that,
yeah,
what do
with
you think
him
wants
just
to do
having
next offseason when
a
Harden
player
outside this
option
contract and wants even
with
more
that,
money?
he
Are you
could
just going to hand
easily
him over a blank
just
check that he could have
leave
just handed
after
over to
this
Paul
season
George? What are you going to do? It's
because
inevitable. Harden is
they're
more than
probably
likely going
not
to
doing
demand a trade.
anything.
He just
To
wanted to
be
get his
honest,
money
if
while he
Kawhi,
could because he knew that the
which I
Clippers were
doubt,
willing to
if
give him
Kawhi
$35
stays
million
healthy,
for the next year.
maybe.
That's it.
But
And
even
also, as a
then, the
quick
West is
sidebar,
so
Harden,
deep, it's
that
just
boy
tough
Daryl Morey
for him
got
to go
over on
anywhere.
you something serious. I want everybody to stop. Just a quick pause here.
But we're gonna go on to the
all
next
Boy,
move.
Chicago Bulls are definitely making an argument for being the worst ran franchise
Right,
in the NBA.
correct.
The first transaction
Because this is what I'm talking about. I do not understand what they're doing
The Chicago Bulls finally moved off of Alex
at
Caruso,
all.
a player that many teams, and I do mean many teams, were interested in just a handful of months ago at the deadline, and now he's being moved to the Oklahoma City Thunder. In this
So
transaction,
Caruso
I that
gets
the Bulls
traded
got a lot, especially for a team that has a lot of draft capital.
for Josh
And
Giddey.
the initial reports were that they got Josh Giddey in return. Now, when that first came out, I thought to myself, hey, I'm going to pause for a second, wait for more info, because I know for a fact that Chicago got at least some draft picks, cap flexibility, or maybe
something
even cash
back in return.
consideration, and that
But it
this
was
is just
literally
the
just
outline
player
of the
for
fundamental pieces that are
player.
in this transaction. But
Player
nothing
for
else transpired.
player.
Actually, there were people reporting
It's
that
crazy.
this was the entire deal. Literally, Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey. In big 2024, we are having one-for-one trades. That is something that literally you just never ever see, especially when you're talking about a player of the caliber of Alex Caruso that was garnishing a lot of attention over the last year, as people already knew the inevitable was going to happen in Chicago, and that was going to be a rebuild and blowing up the entire thing, the entire infrastructure, the entire roster. And here we are, the player that had the most value.
I don't know. They got his stats looking weird right now. Whoever made this
I don't even know where to begin,
but
I will
he's supposed to be like a
positive and start with
stretch
OKC.
or something. But he wasn't shooting like he was in
I
high school
genuinely don't know
during the
how
G
you can
League,
get
so that's
any
probably
better
why
of
they
a
got
deal
it
for a player
like
that
this
can be
right
this
now.
much of a difference maker. Alex Caruso not only is one of the best defenders in the NBA, as he made second team all defense this year, but is a much and significant improved three-point shooter over Josh Giddey. Over the playoffs, one of the biggest concerns that the Oklahoma City Thunder had is that Josh Giddey went from a
what's going on with Kobe White. He had a great year last year. Lonzo's coming back.
Numbers, but was
why get another guard
looked like from a perimeter standpoint because
that
of his liability from behind the arc? Team schemed against
plays just about the same? Well, Lonzo,
shrinking the floor for Shea and effectively just making it
Lonzo plays a
for the
better
Oklahoma City
defense.
Thunder to get consistent buckets, and it got so bad that during the second round against the Dallas Mavericks, he eventually
they
came
got
off
his
the bench
three
for
high.
Isaiah Jones.
I know he worked on it and changed his shot and stuff.
Thunder, a player who was so flawed with his lack of floor
but
space,
Kobe White last year, he was going crazy. He had a good year last year. He could have been most improved, to be honest. I would have voted for him to be most improved.
On 5 attempts, as well as a great
He had a great year last
which
year.
allows OKC
Zach LaVine still on this roster is crazy. They just cannot get rid of him. They've been trying to trade him. We could have got him. That's what I was hoping the Lakers at least to get DeMar or Zach, some other type of scoring wing guard type beside AD and LeBron.
And if
would
the
be
Thunder
great.
know that he's not a part of their long-term deal,
I don't know who we would have traded to get who we would have gave them. I'm not sure. Maybe gave Vincent D'Lo or something, but that would just been more guards. Not sure. Maybe Torian Prince or something. Cam Reddish, like guys, because some of these guys that we did pick up in the offseason last year did not really. They did not perform to like our expectations, to be honest. Like Cam Reddish, I thought he was gonna play way better. Torian Prince, he got too much PT. I didn't see much of
to add pieces to the roster to address other concerns, in particular the ones that left them at a massive deficit.
You call him Mandalorian. What is his name?
I genuinely don't know
how he plays Vanderbilt. Jerry Vanderbilt. Vandalorian. That's what we call him. But yeah, I did not see a lot of him last year either, because I think Torian Prince was taking most of his minutes. Gave Vincent I really would like to keep Reeves and Rui, but like even would have added them to a trade would have been good to get at least Zach LaVine or DeMar, and then with LeBron taking that pay cut, we should have did something.
Man, this is sad. Okay, now that that's done, what the hell are y'all doing? I genuinely don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
Everyone, I mean, people were literally falling over themselves trying to get Alex
This
Caruso.
does not make any
you
sense,
ended
though.
up only getting Josh Giddey for him is ridiculous.
Just getting
I'm not
one
even
player,
about the
like you said, this guy could at least got some type of draft picks or something out of it, but they literally didn't get anything
We're
in
talking about an
return.
organization that is floundering talent.
So I'm not sure what they're doing, but the Thunder team is looking amazing. They get Hartenstein from the Knicks, and then Caruso adding just more to their defensive powers.
The most value in Caruso, you only get Josh Giddey for him. And what's crazier is the reasoning behind it. Where Woj had reported that the Bulls have been determined to find a playmaker to replace Lonzo Ball, and that's
I'm gonna let this video play though.
Which is crazy news. It just casually just drop out of nowhere, right? And Giddey,
but it does
21,
not make
comes
any
with
sense.
all-star potential that would unlikely be realized because of playmaking star power who surrounded him. You're telling me that Chicago believes that Josh Giddey has untapped all-star potential? And not only does he have untapped all-star potential, that out of all teams in the NBA, that the Thunder couldn't allow him to reach that potential, and that you think that in Chicago he's going to be able to do so? Be very mindful that literally over the past couple of years, Kobe White was just on the team, just literally pissing away. So you're telling me that now all of a sudden Chicago is a team where you really get to really improve and make jumps and leaps in your progression and development as a star player and can be an all-star caliber player. Like, are you serious right now? It took Zach LaVine dealing a season-ending injury for them to finally and also Lonzo as well, for them to finally give Kobe White the minutes for him to actually reach his potential. And also, it's not even just Kobe White. What about Wendell Carter Jr.? Remember how you had him on the roster and he wasn't able to fulfill that talent? Or what about Lauri Markkanen? You know, you had him on the roster as well, and for whatever reason, he wasn't able to reach his untapped potential until he got to Utah, where he actually was an all-star. But Chicago, out of all teams, will be able to reach Josh Giddey's untapped potential. Let's be for real. The fact that you took Josh Giddey and didn't even get a draft pick for him is crazy. Out of all of the draft capital that OKC got, you could have got something. Get one of those fake first rounders that got so many protections on them that it turns around to be a second round pick. But you didn't even do that. The biggest problem with Josh Giddey is the fact that he's not a three-point shooter. He's not somebody that spaces out the floor. So you're talking about putting him on the roster that last year finished 27th in made threes, 26th in three-pointers attempts, and 20th in three-point percentage, right at below 36% from behind the arc. Well, low, maybe he's going to fit well with all of the great three-point shooters on the roster. Who was actually the best three-point shooter on the team last year? Oh, that's right. It was Alex Caruso. It's not like Josh Giddey is getting heavily contested and he's shooting this bad and it's going to be a detriment to this team. He is shooting wide open threes, and to compare his shot profile to Alex Caruso's and what they're going to be missing makes this an even more staggering loss. Last year, Josh Giddey on catch and shoot threes shot 34% from behind the arc. On threes where he was left wide open, only 35.5%. In contrast to Caruso on catch and shoot threes, he shot a near 41% from behind the arc, and on the wide open threes, Caruso shot a near 44% from behind the arc. That is a staggering difference between these two when it comes to shooting and floor spacing. And to believe that it's going to make sense to put him on a roster potentially that may still feature DeMar DeRozan and definitely is going to feature Vucevic unless they decide to move off of him, that is a terrible fit. The other problem is, what exactly does this roster look like? What exactly is Kobe White supposed to do? Because isn't that effectively Kobe White's responsibility? Isn't that who Kobe White is supposed to be on this team? Because Kobe White looked sensational when the ball was in his hands. So the one player that you actually improved and developed over the last God knows how long, now you're saying you're going to take the ball out of his hand and give it into someone else's hands who is noticeably worse than him. What sense does that make? But then it gets even worse, because now you're talking about an organization from a decision-making standpoint on these contracts. What exactly do they do? I mean, DeMar DeRozan is going into free agency, so you have to figure out what he's going to do on the team. And if you decide to bring him back, you're talking about a team that's going to have a starting lineup that features Josh Giddey, DeMar DeRozan, and Vucevic. Okay, if you don't, and you still decide to just move on forward, you still have already committed $129 million to this roster anyway. Giddey this year is on the last year of his rookie deal, who's looking for an extension. The only reason why you would make this trade is if you're committed to him long term. So you're actually going to commit to Josh Giddey. Then you have to figure out within a year or two's time, what are you going to do with Kobe White? Because after next season, he only has one more year left on his deal. Then after that, you have to figure out what you want to do with Ayo, because after this upcoming season, he only has one more year left on his deal. And then you still got to figure out what you're going to do with Zach LaVine as well, because you've been trying to trade him literally all year long. And every single passing month, his trade value goes down. And then it brings it to the whole Lonzo Ball situation, who Lonzo has a player option, who he's probably definitely going to opt into his deal. And now there's rumors talking about how you're going to buy him out. So then you have to commit to paying for a player for him not to be on a roster, because more than likely it probably feels like Lonzo, his career has been completely derailed with injuries. And that's the only reason why you would even entertain the idea of buying him out. All of this makes absolutely no sense. Everybody's been waiting for Chicago to make a move for years at this point, because the writing was on the wall. That mid-three that they built out in Chicago of DeRozan, Vucevic, and Zach LaVine, everyone knew that was heading nowhere fast. And the fact that the first deal that they decide to make, it wasn't trading Andre Drummond at the deadline when he was on an expiring contract, so now he can walk, you get nothing. It wasn't trading DeMar DeRozan at the deadline, who also was on an expiring contract, so you might not get nothing for him either. It wasn't trading Lonzo Ball, so you can at least get something for him in return, but now it sounds like you're going to buy him out. It wasn't trading Zach LaVine, who you've been trying to move for the past 10, 18 months now, and it wasn't trading Vucevic. Instead, you decided to give him a contract extension last year. It was trading the most valuable piece on the team. So F minus if I've ever seen one. And it does seem like there's going to be a massive overhaul in Chicago. And hell, we don't even know if the Bulls are going to receive anything of value for it, because the most valuable piece they had, it translated into Josh Giddey. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chicago Bulls, round of applause. Worst ran franchise in the NBA. But yo, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like I stated earlier, if you want to see my live reactions to these deals all off season long, make sure you follow me on playback.tv/Lowe's Room, where I'll be live streaming pretty consistently throughout the summer. But if not, as always, just hit the subscribe button and notification bell to be updated when I upload on this channel. Peace.
Introducing the $7 Lux Cravings Box. It's Lux for less, only at Taco Bell.
Your father knows about saving money. Everything I'm wearing, I've had since boot camp.
And I just saved on my car insurance for driving safe with USAA.
Auto insurance that flexes with you.
Fit to fit.
That's what we're made for.
So DeMar DeRozan finally got traded, and for whatever reason, everybody is talking about everything that really doesn't matter in this transaction, instead of focusing on the most important thing when it comes to this trade, and it's mind-blowing to me. So I'm pretty sure many people are aware last week there was news that broke that DeRozan and the Bulls were not on the same page whatsoever, as DeMar felt like the organization was heading in a different direction that was a bit more younger after the Josh Giddey transaction, which of course makes sense. The Bulls are in a situation where they have to rebuild and restructure, because the core that they formatted out there in Chicago a couple of years ago clearly didn't work out. And DeRozan wasn't part of those plans, so he hit the free agency market, and we see what his value is. Now, as a quick sidebar, as a Laker fan, I am thankful that the Lakers did not go out there and try really, really hard to get DeMar, because of course, with his limitations on both sides of the floor, fit is going to be an ongoing conversation that many people are going to discuss regardless of what team he's on, and that's basically my hesitation even with this transaction as well. As the Sacramento Kings are the team that landed DeRozan, and of course, there's a lot of questions and conversations that come around this transaction, and for whatever reason, when you look at this trade on the screen, why is everyone concerned about Sacramento? Because in my opinion, they are the least important team of this transaction. Sure, DeMar DeRozan was a player in the sweepstakes, and the Sacramento Kings got him. Great. It came at a $74 million price point over the next 3 years, which is certainly questionable for a player who's 35 years old. By the end of that contract, he'll be 38, and God knows who DeRozan is going to be by the end of that deal. Also, be very mindful that De'Aaron Fox decided to decline the potential to extend himself for the Kings as he decided to try to figure out what exactly Sacramento is going to do for him before he decided to commit to the organization long term. And if this is the answer, I don't necessarily know if it fixes a lot of problems. Now, sure, replacing Harrison Barnes with someone who's a bit more dynamic offensively certainly is going to improve this roster on that side of the floor. This is a team that put a lot of pressure on De'Aaron Fox over the past 2 seasons to kind of bail them out in fourth quarter situations. And if it wasn't De'Aaron Fox, then it was Malik Monk. And for the most part, I do believe Fox lived up to that potential, but still moments where he just wasn't able to rise to the occasion. You add a veteran presence who is a bucket getter, a shot creator in the mid-range area, and of course there's going to be an improvement there, but there are so many other questions that continue to rise for this team. One is defense. I feel like the Kings got worse defensively after this transaction. One could very well argue that they were never really a good defensive team, and Harrison Barnes really wasn't providing that much value on that side of the floor. And to be fair, that's true, but he provides more value defensively than DeRozan does. Also, even in terms of who DeMar is offensively, I believe it clashes with a lot of players on this roster, in particular Sabonis, as both DeRozan and Sabonis operate in very similar places on the floor, in particular the elbow area, and I don't know how that's going to work. And in my opinion, the one thing that it really does disrupt for the Sacramento Kings is the pace that they run at in the half court. Easily one of the toughest teams to defend in half court settings because how much they just shift the defense when they're moving east to west. That's not really DeRozan's game. He's a ball stopper. He slows it down a little bit, and sure, in late game situations that benefits you when you need a shot, but the identity of who the Kings have been over the past 2 seasons may be lost a little bit when you have someone who's more ball demanding. Even though, yes, I understand some of the benefits from it, there's way more questions that come behind adding DeMar on the Sacramento Kings. But who really cares? No one doesn't think that the Kings are going to be a dominant team in the upcoming year. No one doesn't believe that the Kings are going to be a guaranteed lock for a play-in position, and no one really believes that this move puts the Kings over the top, so I don't really care too much. But what I do care about this transaction is how in the hell did the Spurs come out on top of this transaction this well, and how they're quickly becoming a sneaky winner in this year's offseason. Not only did they acquire a 2031 pick swap unprotected from the Kings, be very mindful that far out, DeRozan won't be on the team, probably won't even be in the NBA. Sabonis will be off his contract, and even if De'Aaron Fox decided to sign an extension, and that's a huge if, he would be either 1 year removed from his contract.
They're still on the Bulls, basically, with the DeMar DeRozan. Alright, so with that being said, DeMar DeRozan going here is not a bad move. It's probably one of the best out of the offseason. Be him, PG, Caruso, Clay's not a bad, that wasn't a bad one either. But yeah, this is a nice squad now. De'Aaron got another clutch score with DeMar. Then DeMar and Sabonis is great playmaking big. Malik Monk, I don't know if he's gonna be coming off the bench again or not. And I'm not 100% sure if Kevin Huerter is still there or not. Actually.
That they had in their front court. It was just ridiculous. Was Zach Collins, Champagny, and Jeremy Soule?
But if he is still there, that is a good one.
Those 3 front court players around Wemby, adding Harrison Barnes, corner 3-point shooter with the size that can play both 3 and 4.
Oh, he's talking. Okay, he went from the Kings to the Spurs. Because yeah, Harrison Barnes going there, Chris Paul going there. It's good veterans to have over there on that team. Yeah. Here you got Keegan Murray. How would they have this start lineup? Because Malik Monk was coming off the bench last year. They have Kevin Huerter. If Kevin Huerter is still on the team, which I'm not sure if he is or not, but if he is, I guess that's the rookie they picked up, huh? Okay. Gotta see how he actually does. That dude wasn't doing too bad in the season. Yeah.
The Chicago Bulls, an organization that I honestly believe is the worst ran franchise in the NBA, it somehow gets worse. So, again, let's go back a week ago with the whole DeMar DeRozan news broke about how Josh Giddey was the last.
It's interesting. The squad isn't too bad, though. I mean, the West is still so deep, but they could easily get play-in at the highest, maybe 7th seed. I could see them slipping up there somewhere around that area. 7th or 6th seed. There's still so much competition in the West, though. But let's see, going to the Spurs. He's talking about Spurs. Yeah, Wemby's there, Devin Vassell, Kelvin Johnson, then got Solifan. The CP is Barnes, like I said, they picked them two up. Then they got Stephon Castle in the draft. Trey Jones is still there? So they'll probably have him come off the bench. But Chris could do like he did with the Thunder. Go here, mentor these guys, build them up, and then if the GM and the Spurs, just the front office in general, do this right, like the Thunder do, and build this up correctly, they could have a good squad in a few more years.
So in March of 2021, the transaction that they did consisted of Daniel Gafford and Luke Cornett being removed from Chicago, and in return, the Bulls received Javonte Green, Daniel Tice, and Troy Brown Jr. Javonte Green still on Chicago. Daniel Tice a year later was traded for cash and a trade exception, and Troy Brown Jr. later walked in free agency for literally nothing. Daniel Gafford, the guy that was traded to the Dallas Mavericks in the middle of the season, difference maker for a team that was looking for a backup center or a center to replace Derek Lively in the starting lineup. They basically got cash and trade exceptions for him. Yeah. Ridiculous. Damn. Another trade, the infamous Nikola Vucevic transaction that happened on the same day, where the Chicago Bulls sent out Wendell Carter Jr., Otto Porter,
he's going back in time with this
one of which turned out to be the 8th overall selection in 2021, which ended up being Franz Wagner, and the 11th pick in the 2023 draft that turned out to be Jet Howard. However, Jet Howard was selected one pick before, and what they received in return was Al-Farouq Aminu and Nikola Vucevic. Vucevic is still on the team. He only has 2 years left on his deal, and there's questions on if the Bulls are going to receive anything for value from him after he's coming off of one of his worst seasons of his career over the past handful of seasons. Worst three-point shooting season he has had basically since he was like in his mid-20s, and also defensively he continues to show signs of regression, so there's that problem as well. A few months later, the Bulls decided to trade Jonathan Aransky and Garrett Temple to the New Orleans Pelicans, and return received Lonzo Ball. We already talked about Lonzo. Just a couple days after that transaction, in August still of 2021, Al-Farouq Aminu, as well as Thaddeus Young, and a 2025 first-round pick and 2 seconds were sent to the San Antonio Spurs for DeMar DeRozan. And now here we are 3 years later, and the Bulls got Chris Duartes and 2 second-rounders for DeRozan. That's it. But wait, it gets worse, because right after the DeMar trade, the Bulls decided to trade Lauri Markkanen, and in return received Derek Jones Jr., who they then later allowed him to walk in free agency and received nothing for him. So yes, Derek Jones Jr. starting wing for the Dallas
Mavericks. He's going off still with the Bulls. Yeah, the Bulls is doing terrible. Let's go to the next trade. Next trade is here. Should give y'all an idea where we're going with this one.
So DeJounte Murray is finally being traded, and boy, could this mean a precursor to one of the biggest trades that we can see all season long.
What are we doing here?
Because no one is really talking about what could happen next for the NBA. But before we get into that, this is a trade that many people have been anticipating for the past couple of months now. Ever since the deadline, people have been talking about DeJounte Murray, the Atlanta Hawks.
They did get the first round, the first draft pick, exactly, Ricochet. But I'm not 100% sure how he's going to contribute, how well he is. I saw a few highlights. He looks decent. Good scoring wing.
Between the Pelicans and the Milwaukee Bucks.
Other than that,
which again I'm not sure isn't really much.
This is a regular versatile wing, most that you can find anywhere in the NBA. They did get Dyson Daniels from the Pelicans, Larry Nance as well. Did they get anyone else?
when they started down this path, they were
after they
seeing all of young
sent
players and a
DeJounte
bunch of
to
draft capital in
the
the process.
Pelicans,
And the
what
piece
I
that
thought was
they're
going to
already
happen did
struggling
not
to
happen. I
fill
thought
is
they
that
was going
point
to
guard
get
position.
Brandon
First it was
Ingram
Lonzo Ball, then it worked out, then it was
for
Graham,
that
that didn't work
trade,
out.
to be
Then
honest.
CJ
I
McCollum has
thought
been playing
Brandon
pseudo point
Ingram,
guard for the
I
past
thought
couple of
B.I. would
years.
have came to
That also
Atlanta,
hasn't worked
DeJounte
out
was going
either.
over there to
But
New
now a
Orleans.
point guard
But
that has been on
they,
the market for the
Pelicans
past couple of
still
years that
kept
address a lot of different
B.I.,
things, in
which
particular
is
ball
great,
handling,
you
passing,
know, but for
playmaking,
the
who is
Hawks, I'm
also a
not
great shot
sure
creator in and of itself, something that the
what
Pelicans have been desperately needing,
the
especially in the
look
fourth
is
quarters,
here right
where they have
now.
been struggling mightily.
Maybe
And I do
they're
mean
putting it
mightily.
all on
DeJounte Murray
Ricochet
fills in a lot of those
and
voids while also
Young,
having some
seeing how their
upside
duo works
defensively
out.
to where he can get
Give it
back to
maybe
the
a year or
defensive form we
two
saw in
and
San
see how that
Antonio. And
goes.
I personally believe he's
You
going to be
still
much
got some
better on that
young,
side of the
you
floor,
got young people.
matched
You
up
got
with
Jalen
Herb Jones on
Johnson,
the
you
perimeter,
got Hunter,
something that Atlanta just couldn't do
Onyeka, and then
whatsoever.
you
And when
got
you look at
Dyson
the depth chart
Daniels
for the
just picked
Pelicans,
him
things
up.
are not only moving out much more
So I mean,
smoothly, but something that
you still got
cannot go
squad. All
unnoticed
these
is the fact
centers,
that the
all these
Pelicans
bigs.
got this deal done
I mean,
without having to
some of
move
them play the
CJ
four as
McCollum,
well,
Brandon
though.
Ingram,
Them
Herb
all
Jones,
being
or Trey Murphy.
6'9"
The
and
fact that they were able
up.
to keep all of these
But
players is massive. And it's not
yeah.
just because they were able to keep talent, but also they were able to retain a lot of their
But hey, the
flexibility to
Pelicans
fill in a lot of the other pieces
showing
that are
them
missing. As you can clearly
Zion,
see at the
B.I.,
5
then they
spot, there's a
picked up
huge question mark on what they
DeJounte.
want to do there
They
because
still got
Jonas Valanciunas
CJ,
is
Herb
reportedly more than likely
Jones,
not going to
Trey
come back.
Murphy.
But that kind of then shifts
They
the
got
direction and the
Jose,
attention on what
GTA, you know what I'm
exactly is New
saying?
Orleans trying to build
Hawkins.
out there with
They
a
picked up
team that
Dice.
is moving in the right direction, in my opinion.
They,
The biggest
they,
question
they
mark,
got a
obviously, is
decent
Brandon Ingram.
squad,
This has
but
been an ongoing
the
report
West
that
is
we've
so
seen over the
strong.
past week and a half now
Not
that
sure.
BI and the Pelicans have
Play
not
in
necessarily
again,
been on the same page on his
maybe
worth for this
higher,
team,
maybe the
in large part because
same
he's coming off of a bad season relative to
ceiling
what he's
as
been
the
producing in years
Kings,
prior. This is
maybe,
the lowest amount of
in
points
a
he's averaged
sense
as a
of
Pelican
at the
this year. Your
highest maybe
finishing
a
in
6
particular
seed,
wasn't the greatest
at the
either,
lowest
especially from behind the
play-in
bargain
or out of
contracts
the
of other years.
playoffs.
And the
But
problems of availability are still
yeah,
there as well.
and like I
And
said,
trying to believe that
Tobias, this is
someone like
Tobias
Brandon
Harris went
Ingram should be receiving
over
anywhere
there.
close to
They also
max
got
contract level,
Tim
especially in
Hardaway
the
Jr.
CBA, is a really, really, really hard sell. Especially
Pistons
when
got
the
right
other
there.
piece of this puzzle is that both Herb Jones and Trey
But
Murphy, in my opinion, they've worked themselves into
they
being
got
starting
a
caliber
decent
players in
squad.
this league. I would really like to see what they're going to provide to this team moving forward. And if Ingram and New Orleans cannot find themselves on the same page because they have a lot more resources and options to their disposal out in New Orleans, then I could see the Pelicans moving
Who
on
is going to
from
be their
Brandon
starting
Ingram in a
big? Are they
trade,
going to run
bringing in a
small
lot more
ball
assets
and have
to fill out
Zion
the rest of the
in
roster, which
with
again, huge plus that they were able to keep BI
pretty much
in the
right
team.
here,
Same
like
thing can actually be said about CJ McCollum as well,
right
because even though,
here,
yes, a
maybe
lot of the
take
reports do have CJ
CJ
participating
out,
in the restructuring
have
of the roster. Again, I
DeJounte,
just feel like in a league where
BI
length,
with Herb,
athleticism, and that type
Trey,
of
and
presence on the
Zion.
perimeter is all at a premium, it might actually just make more sense for them to move in a direction with a bit more
How would they
youthfulness,
have
a
this
much more
lineup?
defensive
Because they
versatility.
really don't
Move
have a
Herb Jones to
big
the 2,
anymore
Trey
since
Murphy at the 3,
Valanciunas left.
Zion at the 4,
Valanciunas
moving
went to
CJ
the
McCollum and
Wizards
providing a
over
much more
here, which is
well-rounded
good. He has
talent
a
around
good
this roster.
backup
Because once more, we
for
don't know if they
Alex
have it at the
Sarr.
5, and the depth is now
Or
severely
even run
lacking
them at the
because of this
same. I don't
transaction,
know.
because they
Have
did
them
move off
both
of
at the
2
same
rotational
time.
pieces in
See
the
how it
process. And when
goes.
it comes to CJ McCollum, because of the amount of money he's making,
But
around $30 million for
still
the
got
next 2
Kuz.
seasons, and also on a
Whoa, I
contract
did
that only
not know
lasts
that.
for
Okay,
2 more
Malcolm
years,
Burnham's not
he
on
is much
Trailblazers no
more
more. He's
easier
over
to move
here with the
for a
Wizards.
piece or pieces
I'm not
that are
sure if
really,
that's
really
true or
valuable
not,
because
but
of the
yeah,
amount of money
that's
he's
what's up.
already making.
That's actually
There are
not
teams
bad.
out there, especially lower level teams,
Add some
that are willing
defense
to
over there.
consume
Jordan
bad
Poole,
contracts if in return they can get some
Sadiq
draft
Bey,
capital in the process, which New Orleans still have at their disposal if they
and
decide to
then
move in that
you
direction,
got the
which I
Bilal.
believe they should do so.
Bilal's
But the
nice.
biggest question here, and
He
I think
played
by
decent.
far easily the biggest question behind this
Had
is
his
that
little
even though I
moments.
love the DeJounte Murray trade, even though I love it even more
Bagley,
that they were to
David?
keep BI and CJ to make some more additions and moves,
Some
and
of
there
these
are several
people,
bigs out there that could replace Jonas
I didn't
Valanciunas and be
even
an
know they
upgrade in
were
those
over here on
regards.
this team.
None of it matters if Zion is not healthy
But
and
this is
available
not.
to play at a high level. And it's the angle that
I
I
ain't
don't see a lot
expecting
of
them
people
to do
talking
nothing,
about,
but I
and
will
that is
check them out to see
Zion,
how
unlike a
Alex
lot of
Sarr
other
does
young players, high draft
and
picks
check on
going into
Kuzma. I
a
miss
small
Kuzma in
market,
LA.
is he's really been put in a very
That's for
privileged
sure.
situation. Zion has been surrounded by talent effectively since day one that is conducive to his playing style, but we don't really see the maximization of it because of Zion. And so here we go
Yeah,
again, another retooling,
it's tough.
a better, more refined roster, in my opinion, than where they once were a handful of years ago when they got Lonzo and Bi and a bunch of other draft capital in the process. And it
Of
still
course.
doesn't necessarily move me, not because of the pieces that they got in return, not because of the potential trades that they could make, but simply because I don't know what I'm getting out of Zion. And that is pretty concerning, but certainly frustrating for
Just
any
about
NBA
like
fan that had
Kawhi,
high
man.
hopes that Zion at this
That
point
injury
in his
prone.
career could really be moving the needle in the NBA, that is desperately needing his stardom to flourish in today's game. So Zion, please, please, please be healthy and available to maximize what this team is trying to do for you. Now, moving on to Atlanta,
Right.
what are y'all doing? What is Atlanta doing? I am actually perplexed that so many people love to talk about all these other different organizations and isn't talking about Atlanta. Let's start off
Yeah,
with
because
that.
I'm.
Like
That's what
Atlanta
I'm saying.
Hawks
I'm not
decided to go down this
100%
path
sure.
like 2 years ago.
Maybe they're
In the
building up
process of going
for a
down this path,
future,
they
but they were
literally were
just in the
giving up
conference
draft capital
finals not too long
to the
ago.
San Antonio
So
Spurs for DeJounte Murray that they didn't get back in return. They gave up more picks to get Murray, sign him to an extension that's actually very easy to move. Any roster in the NBA can consume that type of money, which I think is only around mid $20 million. And somehow they got less in return for DeJounte Murray? How is that possible?
that's
This
what
is
I
a
said. I
guy
thought they would at
and
least
it's
got
not only less than
Bi
what they got from
for
Murray, but
that,
less than what
but
they were
that
asking for just a couple
I
of
don't
months
know.
ago.
They're
They were
doing
asking
about the
for
same
two
thing that the
first
Bulls are
rounders
doing. They're
and a
just focusing
starting
on the
caliber
future, or
player.
they're
Now they got the
just
two first
tanking the
rounders,
tank at this
but
point. I'm
Larry
not sure.
Nance, Dyson Daniels, those are two bench players. And even if you are high on who Dyson Daniels at one day can be, I don't think that it's so high enough to take a deal like this. To me, this is
And
ridiculous.
Dyson
And as a
Daniels is
Laker fan,
nice,
of
but I
course, I
don't
have to
know
say it. I
how
refuse
great
to be
he's going to be.
gaslit to believe that this is a better offer than what the Lakers were offering
But then
at
I
the
was about to say,
deadline.
yeah, he
The
does
Lakers were
play
providing
both
them with a
shooting
starting
guard and
caliber
point, so
player
I
in
don't know if
D'Angelo
he's gonna
Russell,
take
who they could
minutes
have
from
just earned
Trey
trade and
or
got
what's
more
going
draft
on
capital
here.
for, as he's now opted into his last year, his deal. And also, we were giving them a 2029 unprotected first round pick. In 2029, Braun for sure will not be on the team. AD will be off his contract and could potentially not be on the roster either. So you have no idea where the Lakers are going to be in 2029. In 2025, literally next season, the Lakers are the Lakers are still going to be a playoff team. So that's not going to be a lottery pick. The least favorable pick between Milwaukee and New Orleans, who New Orleans you just made better, also will not be a lottery pick. So I get it. You got your two draft picks, but you got less for what you got for DeJounte Murray, less than what you were asking for a couple of months ago, and you basically got two role players and two non-lottery picks. And I get
Right.
it. The whole experiment didn't work out between him and Trey Young. You roll the dice, it didn't work. But you made a commitment to this backcourt and quit on it this quickly. To me,
I
it's
was about to say they
ridiculous.
weren't
It's
even
crazy.
together that
But
long
now what
to
this also
even
does mean
say
is that
it's
the Atlanta
quits.
Hawks are probably going to go on a fire sale
Yeah.
where they're going to be moving a lot of these pieces and players that they signed to this team with the idea of DeJounte Murray and Trey Young being featured in the backcourt and that identity of the roster. More
I
than
think
likely, they're about to blow this
DeJounte's
up
gonna
and
bring
move
back
in a
some
different
more of
direction.
his
This is
defensive
probably the reason
prowess
why Clint Capella has been
going
in
to the
trade.
Pelicans,
It's
though.
so
Having all those
magnificent.
defenders around
Amazing.
him
You're
with Herb and
right.
Trey, it's gonna be nice to see, though. The Pelicans are. It's gonna be a good look. I don't see them going anything farther if they go to the first round.
Probably the reason why Clint Capella has been in trade rumors. It's
They get
probably
into the
the reason
playoffs,
why a lot of people should also be looking at DeAndre
but you
Hunter
never
and
know.
also Kobe
Injuries,
up
all
there as
that
well.
jazz.
And it's also
You
the
never know
reason
what
why
happens.
I have no idea how people are not talking about this, but the San Antonio Spurs could get Trey Young.
I thought that's
This is
another
like a
thing that was
joke
going to happen.
in
I thought
Wemby's rookie year.
Trey,
Like, oh man,
I
yeah,
thought,
now, just imagine he had an actual point
I
guard.
thought Trey was
Oh
going
man,
to the Spurs
Trey
too.
Young, right?
I heard
I
that
just saw
all
Wemby
last season.
look like a second-year peak all-time player in the second half of his rookie campaign, and you're telling me that now an all-star, all-NBA caliber guard who's a sensational passer and playmaker, the thing that they've been missing could be pieced next to him, bro. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, there is one thing that does not need to be expedited, and it's Wemby getting a dominant team. Because if he gets that,
And I don't know
the league is done.
if
The
it's
league is
possible
done.
now
It's
since
over.
they got
Like, I don't
Chris.
know if y'all saw what
I'm
I
not
saw.
sure
It's
if this
done.
was
And
after
what's
the
even
Chris
crazier is that the
getting
Spurs could
acquired by
easily, and I do
them
mean
or not.
easily, entice Atlanta to make this trade because they have their picks. The picks that they traded for DeJounte Murray, San Antonio can say, hey, if you want to go on a tanking right now and go get Cooper Flag, oh, man, yeah, for sure. Here's your picks back for 2025 next year, 2026 pick swap. Get those picks back. We'll give you another pick. We'll match your salaries as much as we possibly can, and we'll take Trae Young. So now you can go into a full rebuilding tank with your picks back and some young players as well. Oh, yeah, have at it. Have at it. And we'll just take Trae Young off your hands. Because there's
I mean,
no
with the
way that
lineup,
anybody
how it's
believes that in the
looking,
next
that's
like
looking
2
like that's what they're
years
trying
that
to
the
do.
Hawks are going to be
And
able
like
to
I said,
piece
get
a
ready for the
competent team
future,
around Trae Young,
or
that he just
planning
won't force his
something
way
for the
out of Atlanta
future.
because he only
Is that
has
the
like a
same with the
3-year window to
Bulls?
do
It's just
so.
like, what are
Because
you
when there's 3
doing?
years
Like
left
that's
on
the
this
only
deal,
thing I could
we
think
all
of.
know that the
And I
last
can't even
year
say that
of the
with the
contract,
Bulls
if
because
things
there's
ain't
not
looking right, he definitely
too
would
many
have been
young
traded out.
guys,
Like I'm on the
unless they're looking
timeline, I'm seeing
all
people
at
talking about,
Giddy
oh yeah,
right
we
now.
Trae Young.
Like, you
Oh
know.
man,
So it's
the
like
D'Lo trade.
it was
Look at
Giddy
Noel.
and
Look how good they got,
Montes
and no
since they
one is
picked him up for
talking
the
about
draft.
the
Like,
ridiculousness
yeah. So I don't know.
that could be a Trae Young and Victor Wembanyama combination next season that literally no one in the NBA is prepared for. No one. We're done. I don't know what to tell you, dog. We're done. And then you take into consideration all these other teams that have a bunch of other players on their roster that they're effectively trying to get rid of, like the Brooklyn Nets with Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson, or hey, even like Atlanta. Hey, make it easy for you. Throw Hunter into that deal as well. Well, you might as well do it, right? I'll give you more draft picks, even more young players. Bro, this is scary. If you're San Antonio, you could be knocking on the door right now, busting it down. Pause. You should be going to the front office right now to see if this is on a deal or not. But shout out to New Orleans. They got a point guard that they've been looking for while keeping a lot of their flexibility by retaining a lot of their assets in terms of their players on flexible contracts. Hopefully,
Yeah, I
fingers
think
crossed,
think
that
him having
Zion
Chris
is
Paul is
healthy and
still help,
available. This
even though
team
it's
has
not
a
no
great
like
general manager out there, David Griffin, who could
he's not
easily fill out the
getting
rest of the
crazy
roster.
scoring
It's
like of
all
young
up to
Chris
Zion. And
Paul
I think
or
going
of
into this next
Chris
season,
Paul of
there
old,
should be a
but
lot
he'll
of
still
points
have
and pressure
a
from
great floor
Zion to be
general
healthy and
to help him
available.
out.
Atlanta
Wendy
having a
will.
fire sale, one
So
of the worst organizations in the NBA right now, just a running
there's
joke of
that.
how bad they've been ran
Since I
over
was
the
on
past like
them,
3 to 4 years now.
I'm not
Just
sure
complete dumpster
if the
fire.
Cavaliers are
But
going to stay
going through
looking
a
like this.
rebuild, a
They
bunch
have,
of
I
really
know
good players on that
Darius was
roster
trying to
will
get
be
out,
available to the rest of the
so
league if they
I'm
decide
not
to go in that
sure
direction.
if they're going to be
And
able to
one of
move
which
him with
is
that
Trae
contractor
Young.
just yet
And
though.
boy,
But I know
look out for San
he
Antonio. That's all I'm saying.
is
Look out for
probably
San
trying to
Antonio.
get
But yeah,
out of
let me know
there
your thoughts in the comment
with
section below.
Donovan
NBA offseason
pretty much
officially
just
starts,
taking
I
him,
believe,
and that's his team
tomorrow.
now.
And if it does, I will be on stream playback.tv/Los Room. So make sure you
I
check me
wouldn't
out over
mind
there.
seeing him
But if not, as always,
with
hit
the
the subscribe
Lakers.
button,
I'm gonna keep
notification
saying
bell.
if
Until
there's a
next time, I'll see you all later.
decent
Peace.
enough star to have
Just the right
on the
balance
team,
of
I'm
gas
always
and
say
electric.
it.
You
It's
now have the
something.
confidence to go further.
So we got a
It's
trade that is
something.
massive for the New York Knicks and possibly
All right,
even
here
bigger for
is
the rest
the
of the
other
NBA.
big
Mikal Bridges
trade.
is finally being moved from the Brooklyn Nets onto the New York Knicks, a trade that everybody's been waiting for the past like couple of months now, and boy, is it a doozy, and there's a lot to discuss. The New York Knicks are going to
Got the
receive Mikal
Villanova
Bridges, a
Knicks for real
2026
now.
second-round pick, while the
With
Brooklyn Nets
Julius
are
Randle
receiving
coming
Bojan
back,
Bogdanovic,
OG's
4
here.
first-rounders from
They
the
got
Knicks,
a
all
good
unprotected,
squad,
a
man. Mitchell
2025
Robinson's coming
first-round pick
back.
that is
Yep.
a protected pick from the
They're
Milwaukee Bucks, a
looking scary,
2028 pick
man.
swap,
They're
and a
looking scary.
2025 second-round pick.
I'm
And
not gonna lie,
honestly,
the
it makes
Knicks are
sense for
looking
both
scary.
teams, potentially a little bit more for the New York
Them,
Knicks, but I do believe everything makes sense. It's
let's
all
see,
understandable,
them
more or less a win-win,
and
and here's why. First, when it comes to the Knicks, shout out to the Nova
the
boys. The
Sixers
Villanova
are the
connection is
threat
stronger
for
than
the
it's ever
Celtics
been.
right now.
Mikal
You
now
could
joins
throw the
some of
Bucks
his
in there as
ex-college
well.
teammates,
It'd be their
Jalen
second. It'd be
Brunson,
Dame
Josh
and Giannis
Hart,
second
Dylan
year together.
Chinzo, all of the brothers
Hopefully,
coming out of
they can stay a
Villanova,
little
and that right
actually
there, in and of
healthy,
itself, is a huge selling
especially
point, in my
Giannis,
opinion, especially for
because
this team that's
that
done a
first
lot
round they
just
could
solely
have
off of
easily got
chemistry and
through that
continuity.
first
Boy, I ain't
round
gonna hold you. I
into
do like
maybe the
what they're
conference
doing in New
finals,
York
maybe even the
simply off
finals
of that move alone,
if
maximizing what these
Giannis
players
wasn't
look
hurt
like, and moreover,
and
really
Dame got
expediting the
hurt as
process
well.
of
So
trying to build chemistry and continuity that normally takes years in the NBA. get it just like that. And we actually saw it on full
They say
display
them
this
two
entire
stay
postseason.
healthy. Yeah, the
And speaking
Bucks
of
will
this
still be a
postseason, I
threat as
honestly
well.
believe that the run that the Knicks went on in the playoffs is a huge reason why we ended up in this situation. I've said this on stream and on Twitter, and if you're missing out on my takes, make sure you follow me on all other platforms, link in the description. But I personally believe one of the biggest winners, and I would argue the second biggest winner in this year's postseason run, were the New York Knicks. Because the Knicks were basically able to go into the postseason, make a very competitive run while dealing with significant injuries, and now the players who are available have showcased to the front office that just with us being available and playing, look at the success that we were able to achieve. They now feel much more confident
One
going into
thing
the
though,
offseason,
they
and that's
did
how we
lose
end up
the
getting Mikal Bridges.
Hartenstein.
Mikal,
He's
in
on
my
the
opinion, is a
Thunder
really, really
now.
good piece. I believe a lot of
Great
people are sour
backup
on
for
him because of
Mitchell.
his time in Brooklyn,
Since
largely just
so
because, I
now
don't know,
if
maybe
Mitchell
he
gets hurt
fulfilled the
now,
role that
their
many people
backup
thought he was
is
going to be
Precious
after his
Achua.
time in Phoenix with the Kevin
It's
Durant
not
trade.
that
Some
bad,
people,
but
especially
still, it's
Brooklyn
not the
fans, probably
same
had
as
high
Hartenstein
expectations
with
of
that
him being a potential
great
star, and
defensive
outside of a
anchor.
handful of games, he really has not been able to live up to those expectations
But you
whatsoever.
got
But in my opinion, it ain't really
OG,
his fault. He has a
Mikal.
role, he has an identity.
Yes,
Trying to
great
extend it and over
defensive
leverage
wings
him
there,
into a
so
new role that doesn't really fit
still
his playing
possible.
style, in my opinion, it ain't got nothing to do with Mikal, rather than the Nets believing that they got something more than they actually did. And because of that, trading for him was inevitable, and the Knicks landing him, I
To do
believe, is a
something
huge, and I do mean
if
huge
Mitchell
upgrade
goes
for a
down or
roster that
Randall
is
goes
looking
down
for
once
constant
again.
defensive pieces and a little bit more athleticism on the perimeter, especially for a team that needs to surround some athletic defensive wings around a smaller Jalen Brunson to try to maximize what this team can do moving forward. Now, a lot of people may say Mikal ain't really that good of a defender anymore, and sure, that's true, but I also believe that's very disingenuous. Over the past year, Mikal's offensive load has increased, which tends to lead certain players to be worse defensively because of the new offensive responsibility, and because of that, he has been worse on the defensive side of the floor than he normally has been back in Phoenix. However, now with his role being reduced, I do believe he's going to have way more energy to expend on the defensive side of the floor, and that player that we saw in Phoenix is something that we probably should now see out in New York. Moreover, offensively is a part of his game that I think will really carry over into this new system alongside Jalen Brunson. Because I do believe the one aspect that many people are overlooking is how much he's progressed and grown offensively. And these are signs that I started to see
They're going
even
into
when he was in
rebuild
Phoenix before he
mode
got
or
traded for
just waiting
KD,
for
attacking
a
closeouts, creating his
spark
own shot off the
from
dribble, finishing at the
Cam
basket. These are all
or
signs of him
what's going
growing
on.
within a specific role that, in my opinion, was really going to make Phoenix a much more legitimate threat as time progressed. You have a Mikal Bridges who spent an entire year and some change as the first option or second option offensively. He's now going to grow from that. You pick that up, you pair it with Jalen Brunson with hopefully more effort defensively as well. And I do believe it adds a little bit more dynamic play on both sides of the floor that the Knicks desperately need. This also kind of then leads into the other players who, in my opinion, are expendable. Mitchell Robinson, several reports claiming that he's more than likely not going to come back on the team. And even though there hasn't been anything broken about Julius Randle yet, the amount of money he's making on his contract with a handful of more picks that they have at their disposal, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they start shipping him around for other players in the front court or even some depth that this team is going to need moving forward to make their roster a bit more well-rounded to, again, maximize this window that they have because it's an amazing window. But the one thing I have to highlight is the relationship that they have with OG Anunoby right now, and why I even would go as far as to say that the amount of draft picks that they gave for Mikal, though it seems like a lot, it may end up being justifiable because of the reports that we're starting to see about OG Anunoby and what he is demanding. And that is $35 million a year. I'm sorry, I'm not paying OG Anunoby that much money. If you believe that he's worth that, have at it. I know that the salary cap is going to continue to go up. I know there's going to be more money to be spending, but I believe if you're in New York, you want to make sure you not only capitalize on the talent, but also the financial flexibility that you have at your disposal as well. Jalen Brunson is underpaid. DiVincenzo, Josh Hart are also on very, very good contracts. And even Mikal, a lot of people may not be too fond of him, but looking at how much money he's making, somewhere around the $20 million range, I also believe that's really good for who he is. So tying yourself up with an OG and Anunoby contract, to me, is crazy when it could get to the tune of $35 million because that's what he is looking for. Furthermore, there are now reports claiming that the Knicks will not be able to retain Isaiah Hartenstein if they decided to go in the route of bringing back OG and Anunoby, which in my opinion is even further reason to why this trade makes even more sense. Because if it was me, I would not be willing to lose out on Isaiah Hartenstein. What he was able to do for this team was really, really great, just so I can sign back OG and Anunoby, who A, isn't worth anywhere near close to 30 to 35 million, has very clear limitations offensively, but more importantly, I do believe believe that Mikal Bridges is a better version of OG Anunoby. Sure, OG defensively much more versatile, and it has been reported that the Knicks are trying to keep as much wing depth as possible to match up with the Boston Celtics moving forward, which is smart, but it shouldn't come to the tune of paying someone $35 million when the team that you're trying to compete with in Boston is paying Jaylen Brown roughly that same amount of money as well, and he's like a fringe All-NBA caliber player. Like, spending that type of money on OG just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So yeah, even though the reports are there, if OG continues to stall out on the idea that he should be making 30 to 35 million, I do believe moving forward, yeah, it's probably not going to be in the vein of him staying in New York Knicks, and I think that's fine.
Meet Cheryl. Hey, she's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at South tonight.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not
Another,
worried. With the Chase
another
mobile
one of
app,
the
she
big
can lock her
moves.
card. So
Now moving on to the Brooklyn Nets, and boy, have they dodged a massive bullet. Over the past year now, there's been constant conversation on what the hell is Brooklyn doing? Why are they not rebuilding?
it's still
because
on
it's very,
that.
very clear that this team is effectively just filled with a bunch of role players. And what they team filled with a bunch of role players, still not being able to make the playoffs or in position to even make the play-in in the Eastern Conference, that is very telling for a team that needs to hit the restart button. And over the past year, they were offered multiple trade packages that include several different draft picks, but they kept declining it over and over and over again for Mikal Bridges. And that made absolutely no sense whatsoever. But they caught a break because the New York Knicks were there to correct their wrongs and gave them the draft capital that they were effectively still going to receive in any other trade package that they saw early on in the year, if not a little bit more, which in my opinion is pretty crazy. I like Mikal Bridges, but I don't think I like him to the tune of potentially 5 first-rounders. Furthermore, I want to also make this clear. This further sets the precedent of the value of certain players in the league. I've said this multiple times. I said it in other videos, in comment sections, on Twitter, on stream.
Let's go on to the next.
So it's official.
So
the Golden State
got,
Warriors' worst nightmare has finally came. And boy, oh boy, is it tough. We all knew that heading into this offseason, the Golden State Warriors, they had some questions that needed to be answered. In particular, the 2 guards, Chris Paul on an expiring contract, $30 million, trying to juggle that. And then Klay Thompson coming off the Bucks, looking for a new contract, but couldn't be on the same page with the front office.
And odds are just going to be on Luka
definitely
and
turned
Kyrie
out
mostly.
in the worst case scenario.
Most of the games that they play in, play should be open.
They were not able to find an optimistic suitor for
more than
especially
usual,
because the only team out there that was willing to
of course,
give
he had
something
his
in return
times
for
with the Warriors
CP3
being
was
open
Zach LaVine
and
with the
even
Chicago
hitting
Bulls. And
contested
due to the new
shots.
CBA, due to the
He's
new
one of the
rules,
best
due to the new
shooters,
limitations and restrictions and the amount of money they were going to have to pay
So,
of being repeat offenders, they did not want to do that. Think
still
about that for a
got
second. They were willing to waive Chris Paul for nothing rather than trying to get something in return up to the tune of Zach LaVine making over $40+ million on a year-to-year basis. Ridiculous, crazy. Now, furthermore, talking about Chris Paul, just briefly, he would then go on to get waived and signed with the San Antonio Spurs.
They picked up Najee Marshall from the Pelicans.
A young core out there in San Antonio, also potentially aiding Victor Wembanyama within the handful of minutes that he's going to be receiving as a live threat. Hopefully, Wemby turns out to be a much better, a much better player when you place him alongside a player who's willing to pass and play make. But this does mean effectively moment of silence for Chris Paul in his career.
Here we go.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, Chris Paul, shout out to you, brother. It was a great run. You're gonna end ringless. It is what it is. It happens to the best of them. You'll go down as one of the best players in NBA history.
They
not win a championship, but effectively opting in to go to a team, a rebuilding roster, a young core, means that you are looking to play the mentorship role and will probably prepare yourself post your NBA playing career as a head coach.
Buddy Hield, they picked up Buddy Hield.
So that's the Chris Paul news, but the breaking news right now is what you're seeing screen. Free agent Klay Thompson plans to join the Dallas Mavericks on a 3-year, $50 million deal with a player option at the end of it. And they're getting the Charlotte Hornets involved alongside moving Josh Green to Charlotte to make sure this deal gets done. Now, as I reported, as of right now, everyone's reporting the details haven't been set in stone yet. The Warriors haven't agreed on any Klay Thompson signing trade deal to the Dallas Mavericks at this point for sources, but could still happen, but still negotiating and finalizing what still is needed. Now, this is all interesting for several pieces because in terms of what exactly the Warriors get in return, if you do go down this path, it is nothing, especially if Josh Green is going to the Charlotte Hornets. The Warriors are getting literally nothing, maybe a draft pick, maybe a second rounder, who knows? knows? Again, still waiting on the details. But when you look
Let's
at
see
the
if
Dallas
his
Mavericks
name
and their
pop up
roster, there's
anymore.
nothing of substance on that team that they can shift over to the Golden State Warriors for them to receive. After moving up for Tim Hardaway Jr.'s contract, they did receive a trade exception, which then opened up the opportunity for them to just outright sign Klay Thompson
He's
if
not on the
necessary in a sign and
Mavericks
trade. But
anymore.
there's nothing that they can move off of that wouldn't significantly hurt their chances to go on to win a championship. And this is very, very interesting because that means that potentially the Warriors are doing this deal, if they can get this done, while
Went to the
not receiving
Clippers?
anything in return at all. Literally nothing. They're going to receive nothing. So basically, how all of this is going to conclude for the Golden State
Yeah, that
Warriors is
sucks.
effectively handing
I mean, you
over
probably get more
negotiating
money over
deals or
there
not negotiating
in
deals
Los
that will
Angeles
yield
and all,
them
but
zero,
yeah, that sucks.
zero in return for both Chris Paul and Klay Thompson. I cannot reiterate this again. This is the worst
Yeah, the
case
Warriors
scenario
didn't
for the
receive
Warriors.
anything for
Worst.
either
And
one of
it's even
them.
crazier is that
And
the news
Chris
that I
just
think
went to the
really, and I
Spurs,
do
and then
believe,
Clay just
really,
went to the
really damaged the
Mavericks.
relationship
That's pretty
between
much
Klay Thompson
how
and the
that
Golden State
happened.
Warriors was that PG news. When he got wind that they were hell bent on not giving him multiple years on his deal. When the hang up was, hey, I want 3 years. They're only willing to give me 2, but then behind my back, you all are negotiating a deal
Curry
with Paul
definitely gonna have to
George to give
pull
him 4 years, and
a great
reportedly
season
both
off
Steph Curry and
and pull this
Draymond
team
signed
to
off on
victory.
it. That had to
Cause
be it. At that point, it's kind of over at that
I
point.
don't know
So
what's going
now
on.
you're getting nothing for these two players. You're moving in a different direction, and this is by far the worst case scenario for the Golden State Warriors as they are now trying to retool. And it now brings us to a much bigger question, much bigger picture, and that is it time to trade Steph Curry? Is it time to trade Draymond? Is it time to move on a different direction? Because if you look at their roster, what they have on the team, this is not a team that is conducive of making a deep postseason run.
Yeah,
This
their
is not
team
conducive of a team
definitely,
that may not even guarantee the spot
like
in
I
the
said,
postseason whatsoever. As a
he's gonna have to
playoff team,
literally
this is a team
carry
that
this
clearly
team.
needs to
Cause
pivot
what
in a
I
different
don't know
direction in
what this
hopes,
is.
and I do mean in hopes, to try to get something in return for something. And it may not be nothing. Shout out to the
But
Dallas
Mavericks
Mavericks. If
definitely, that
this
was a
does
good
go
move,
through,
good
which seems like
pickup,
it more than likely
getting
will,
Clay.
they made an addition to the roster that is necessary.
And
Like
Najee
Diallo
Marshall was a
with
good
PJJ, someone who
POA, the
was
point of
limited
attack
as a three-point
defender.
shooter, just stuck in a corner. That's all he can do.
Good to have
Upgraded him to
him.
Klay Thompson, much more versatile offensive weapon. Not the same defender, but definitely increases their ceiling in terms of what they can do offensively. And also, shout out to Klay Thompson. He is on a roster that will further maximize who he is as a player. Not as many
Exactly.
off-ball movement sets that will probably be ran for
That
him
is
out in
one
Dallas,
thing.
and we'll try to figure
He's
out
more
what that looks
spot
like
up
for him. Still a great catch-and-shoot
instead
player,
of
but something that we're going
going
to be
off
really looking
off
at in terms
ball,
of
like
his
you said, off ball
comfortability in a new
movements, going
offense
off
that
of
probably
screens,
doesn't have that much
off
off-ball
ball
movement,
screens and
but
stuff.
still, you are on a team that maximizes who you are as a player and isn't asking you to do a lot on that side of the floor, as you have not just one, but 2 elite-level shot creators and some rim protectors as well on the defensive side that you have been lacking out with the Golden State Warriors for the past couple of years. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, bro. This is sad. I ain't gonna lie. This is sad. This is sad. The Warriors, the dynasty is done, bro. The dynasty is done. The run is over, and
It's gonna come
we just
to an
got
end
done
sooner or
watching the
later.
greatest
We knew
backcourt
that.
of all time, in my opinion. And we're now transitioning into a year where the Warriors not only are going to miss out on the greatest backcourt of all time, but they got nothing in return for it, and more than likely will be leaning in a direction to where they're going to have to move off of Steph Curry and Draymond as well. And because after this next season, and they realize that, hey, this is a tough Western Conference, and we're not going to be able to compete with the roster that we have at our disposal, I think that it's only a matter of time before the Warriors and Curry get on the same page and say, hey, trade me to a contender. Let me maximize the last year or two that's left in my NBA career. Same thing with Draymond Green. Trade me to somewhere else, and we're probably looking at a full rebuild. This is sad, going out really, really bad. And I do believe the biggest mistake that they made, and I've said this several different times, is not going after actual stars or quality veteran rotation players with those draft picks, because basically at this point they got nothing for any of those picks. James Wiseman turned out to be a dud, got nothing for him. A young player in Jordan Poole basically played great, and then now you move him for Chris Paul, and you got nothing for him as well. So really nothing for Wiseman, nothing for Poole, and now you still have Kuminga, but you still haven't signed him to an extension yet either, which is going to be even more money. But Kuminga on this roster doesn't maximize who he is either. So now because of the team and how there's limited floor spacing, how there's limiting shot creation, how there's limited size inside, Kuminga is now not going to be maximized to who he is as a player, which then kind of questions the justification of even keeping him on this team either, when there are multiple opportunities for you to trade him for, again, more veteran presence that would have maximized the team immediately instead of later on down this hypothetical timeline that never really worked out. Also, allegedly, Klay Thompson was even given more opportunities somewhere else as another team was willing to give him a 4-year deal with more money, but Klay Thompson still decided to go with the Dallas Mavericks. And again, I just believe it's the best opportunity for him, at least in his mind, not only because he gets to maximize who he is potentially in a team with two elite shot creators, but as has been reported by Bleacher Report, he also sees a difference in state income tax. So there's that as well. This sucks, and it's by far the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario for the Golden State Warriors. And it's sad to watch this team go out the way that they did, but it's only a matter of time before we have to move in a different direction with Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Draymond, something I was kind of predicting for the past couple of months now. Unfortunately, it came to pass, and it's only a matter of time before Steph and Dre will also be traded to another team as well, and they move in a different direction and try to blow it up. Now, that being said, I'm going to end the video here, and I'm about to proceed to crash out on the next video.
And it's pretty much going on to the other teams. We'll go into some actual. We'll play a little bit, some games.
Ads on LinkedIn too. With 70 million decision makers, LinkedIn is the place to be.
While we're talking, but they're pretty much going on to theirs. Let's go straight into it.
So for some quality players out there, so the free agency pool is told you this might be upset alert, man. Man, we'll see what Japan end up doing. I feel like tie game right there. Free agency pool kind of sucks right now, but there are still some quality players out there. We just saw Tyus Jones.
PG, keep it simple.
Back of PG in the league, but nothing. Matter of fact, let's talk about this. Why you say the best backup PG in the league?
I mean, he started last year, but like notoriously, he's been consistently the best backup point guard.
I think he's a starter now.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about? I missed it already.
Free agency pool kind of sucks right now, but there are still some quality players out there. We just saw Tyus Jones.
Trey's still over there at the Spurs. His brother's Tyus.
I think he's a starter now. Yeah. Well, yeah, Washington started with Phoenix. I think he's officially started. What's that lineup look like to you? In Phoenix? Him, Book. Oh, no. Bradley Beal is leaving. KD.
Touch on anything.
Maybe he does.
You ain't thought about this at all?
Yeah.
So what's this all right?
Tyus Jones, Book, Beal. I mean, Bill's not the three. I'm just naming it. KD and Murphy.
Okay. You were talking about if Beal came off that bench and it was Tyus starting. He has Tyus starting. I know. This is just to balance it out a little bit because you're going to have some repetitiveness in the offensive lineup. And I know a lot of people, like some fans on my stream, when there's like, they can see it, but it's so hard to bring 50 ends off that bench.
Yeah.
Not if I'm a coach.
I don't think I will. In your case, it depends on how much power.
But the people that were still in the free agency,
I just got the job about 5. You
just not too many big names, like you said. It's not too many people left.
Who is that coach? Budenholzer, right?
It's not too many people left. So let's get on to the next segment here.
Going with is if he doesn't fit into the team, what's his value look like in terms?
Alright, so we're going straight.
The full reviewer. Oh, Keith Lee? Yeah, he also look like King Morgan. He does look like King Morgan. That's funny. So yeah, shout out to this one right here. There, you see it's the L and the Randall fit in. Also, like going with it. Talk to me, Mike. What we got going on? You throw out the first team too. Let's do the New York Knicks. Okay. My question was where does Randall fit in? Also, like
that is a good question.
What's his value look like in terms of a trade?
Because I was wondering that too, since with the Villanova Knicks, with Randall coming back and Mitchell Robinson, if he stays, him coming back, where do they fit in with the Villanova Knicks?
How Randall fits in? I think he just kind of had to come in and just he can't focus on being the number one option no more. Like he's no longer that guy. This team plays with a lot of team camaraderie. He has to fit into the culture. You just kind of got to buy in. And I think that's going to do nothing but just help.
It reminds me of.
My question is, what does him buying
when
look like?
it reminds me back when Melo came back from his injury after the Linsanity was going on. So it's going to be in a sense of that is going to be what's going on. If he can adapt and be
a lot of the time,
and play off of Jalen. He probably work better that way. Just don't get me wrong. He was in the 3-point contest a few years ago. He can still spot up shoot. You know, he can still get to the basket here and there if he has his moments. He still has post work.
Rebounders in the game in terms of like
he can play make shoot. Julius Randle's very versatile. So there's multiple things that could use him as.
You know, they got McHale, they got OG. They can play all the good defense. I'm going to make sure I rebound the ball. Can we see some small ball lineup with him?
Yeah, for sure. I think they're going to close the game with him at the 5.
The only reason I say so is just because you have the perimeter to be like, okay, Julius, you can just kind of have to, like, hang with the big man, box out and everything like that.
Yeah, their closing lineup is going to be Brunson. It's going to be Josh Hart. It's going to be OG. It's going to be Randall. And then it's going to be Mikal Bridges. That's their closing 5 out the jump.
Yeah, I think it's up to Julius Randle. We really have to see it. I'm not giving them nothing because that can easily be all of those guys and put Mitchell Robinson.
That's true.
Because we ain't no sense of giving up rebounding or defensive. But if he is doing those things, then we can do it.
I think the rebounding, I think he could really thrive most. I mean, offensively, he don't really got to
take.
He
does.
Whatever, 10 to 15
I mean, Julius, he could like they said, they move him to the 5 in the lineup, start him at the 5. I mean, you don't have to start him. If they keep Mitchell Robinson, there's no point. But say Mitchell Robinson goes and then they don't get nothing back, or they get a subpar big, start Julius at the 5. Mikal at the 4, like Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, and Brunson. Just have it like that for see how that goes. Get them, get their chemistry right. And Randall find his spot.
I think it was Jalen Brunson talking about like, people say that like we just look exhausted from all those type of things. Like they did run out of gas, but bro, they had like a 6-7 man rotation.
Yeah.
Like, with a couple more people, I don't think they run out of gas that much like that. I think
my biggest question is
accidents, though.
How far
get to the point where it's a 6-7 man rotation. Like,
can they go? Like, what is a good year? A good year look like for the Villanova Knicks? I'm not even calling New York Knicks anymore. The Villanova Knicks. Like, what is a good year look like for them? Is it championship or bust? Is it conference finals? That count as a good year if they just get that? Is it second round?
I think this year will also be a lot different because everybody's gonna come in healthy, and we got a lot of bodies, man. We got a lot of bodies.
Because they just went to second
round. I never
round
looked at those injuries
this year, so if they just go right back to that, which I doubt, depending on
sports media narrative
who they match up against.
My question is, how do you quantify success now? Right, so last year was a successful season. Even though obviously they went to the conference finals, whatever, they were one of the most fun and loved teams in all of basketball. But this year they threw fuel on the fire, and they traded all the first-round picks and got Mikal Bridges. They bring back all their guys. Jalen Brunson signed an extension for a lot less money. So what is this successful season now? If they make it to the conference finals but lose, do you say that was a good year? Is it champion? And I don't mean just for this year. I mean for this entire span of this core together. Like if they never win a championship, could we still look back and say like that was a successful time? Where is the goalpost now for the Knicks? I think it is a championship. Honestly, you do all this to give yourself the best chance, and I think you have to match up with the Celtics. And I think on paper they are one of the teams that do have a chance to match up with them. I think you have to kind of like. You're going to have to go through them to get to a championship.
Yeah, I think two things happen this offseason that makes it like championship is the end goal, and if you don't get it, it's a failure. One thing, they traded 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. Actually, 3 things. They gave OG $200-something million. And then the third thing is Mikal Bridges left 113 M's on the table.
Jalen Brunson.
Who did I say? Mikal Bridges. Oh, Jalen Brunson left $113 million on the table. So 3 things happen for you that are kind of like in the direction of that we are championship or bust. So that for me means that.
And I think my final argument for it too is just that this has got to be your biggest window with Jalen Brunson taking that pay cut. Because if it is going to be like you're going to give him that big payday once it's up, you're probably not going to have to be able to get that same roster you have right now. Especially at like with Jalen Brunson being as good as he is right now too.
I think the success comes from being the best team that you can be. Are the Knicks the best team to anybody up here by default? No. So the Knicks just have to be able to put themselves in a position to have that chance.
I think they're a threat to the
do
best
that,
team.
It's going to get a successful
They're
season
definitely a
and
threat
run
to
for
the
them.
to the
I don't think
Celtics.
the Knicks are a championship or bust team. That sounds crazy to me.
One of the threats.
If the Knicks lose in the first round to the Orlando Magic, that's a failed year. If the Knicks get to the conference finals and they lose to the Celtics, who win their second back-to-back championship, then I mean they ran into a team that nobody has an answer for, and you just try again the very next season. But I do agree with y'all that I think the goal has to be a championship when you have this amount of investment in it. You got Jalen Brunson taking a pay cut, which sets up Mikal to take a pay cut. You gave up the draft capital. Not much more wiggle room you have to go get some star to come through. This is the team. So, and on paper, they have a lot. They're going to be able to compete. It's just about striking when you can strike. I don't know what this season is going to look like. But every year there's a window for some random team, especially in the East, to get through there. And I don't know if it's going to be the Knicks this year, the Bucks, the Magic. I don't know if it's going to be the Cavs. But it may not be any of them. So, again, I respect the Celtics. The Celtics, when they come back and say, we are who we thought we are, and we showed y'all continue to not buy into it, we going to go on a little dynasty run. And if they do that, then I don't think there's anything where the Knicks are like, oh, we failed. It's just that this team decided to go on a dynasty run, and they can't be, touched.
Somebody else throw out a team.
The Orlando Magic.
Orlando Magic.
I'm gonna watch a lot of Orlando.
This team needs point guard still.
Check out
Obviously, went out to get KCP, but
my favorite
I feel like that
young
was one
guys
of the biggest,
in the league
kind of areas
so
they
far.
needed was a point guard going into the offseason.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I made a video about this. And I like the bet that they made, right? They are betting that Jalen Suggs is that guy. And they're not at this, again, they made the playoffs and they were very, like a 7-game series was the Cavs pretty dope, one of the youngest teams of basketball. But they're not one of those teams that have the pressure to have the answers to things. And one of the things Sam Presti said going into last season, I know y'all remember that, like, everybody's like, you have 17 first-round picks, go out and go get you a guy. And he's like, wait, we got to figure out exactly who we are and what we have. And they did that. They made the playoffs. They got eliminated by Dallas. And then they figured out, okay, Josh Giddey's not part of this rotation. Let's do that. I feel like the Orlando Magic is at that point now where we want them to go get a point guard. But maybe the point guard is Jalen Suggs. And they're taking that chance now because they're not in Spencer's team at all yet. That was also my question, though. Is it going to be Jalen Suggs? And if it's not, okay, what do we do next season in order to find that point guard to be on the roster? Is it trading for Trae Young if he becomes available? Is it something like that?
Do they believe in Anthony Black all the way?
Or do they even need a point guard? Because when it comes to fourth quarter time, the ball's in Paulo's hand anyway.
You got,
but I still think he's like a
Jalen Suggs
you can coach
and Cole Anthony right now. Those two are fine.
Do we need
it's more
facilitating type point guard?
Maybe another
pretty much be our point forward.
Another scoring
he's not LeBron
guard.
What point forward have you looked at? Even Giannis needs a point
to
guard.
help Franz and Paulo, but to be honest, I think they're
don't
young.
need to invest in a point guard.
I think it's just the fact that they're young right now. That's the only thing.
Well, no, they was playing that point guard.
Maybe Jokic when he had Campazzo.
That was the Jamal Murray work. That's where he needed Jamal Murray.
Didn't he win MVP that season too?
He sure did.
Got his ass bouncing at first.
But I think that they're going to need one. And again, it could be one of the guys on the roster.
Well, Anthony Simons has now been confirmed as being shopped around the league right now. Him and Jeremy Grant.
One of them is getting traded.
One of them is getting traded.
According to them. I don't buy it, but one of them is getting traded.
So Anthony Simons will be that guy that comes in. One thing he does provide is a straight boost at that scoring. Well, no. He's right.
Yeah, he's scoring.
No, I was thinking like, does he start?
Who?
Anthony Simons. The Magic.
Hell yeah.
No, he doesn't. KCP starts.
Okay.
And then you got Paulo and Franz, Wendell.
And Jalen Suggs.
He does man, Anthony Simon. You're not going to get Anthony Simon.
That's why I don't think they're not going to get
Jalen Suggs.
Yeah. Again, I
That
don't
would
think
have
they're
been a
going to make
good
the decision now.
pickup,
They're
though.
going to see what they have on the
Getting
roster.
I like
Anthony
Jalen
Simons.
Suggs. Anthony Simon starts over him. We go
That
out
would
and
be a
get
good
him, 'cause he ain't gonna
pickup.
be cheap.
With some type of guard, like they said they
It just feels.
needed.
I mean, he's an all-defensive player. It's like when the Herb Jones thing with the Pelicans. Like if Brandon Ingram's there, we gonna have Herb Jones come off the bench? Probably not. He is part of one of the biggest parts of our defensive system. I feel the same way about Jalen Suggs.
So we don't know what this Pelicans starting like. What is this?
I have no idea.
Right. So it's just like DeJounte not coming off the bench, right?
Sure.
I know Anthony Simon not coming off the bench.
I don't think Anthony Simon is an established draft where I'm like, oh yeah, he's a start no matter what.
Derek.
What? DeJounte is a completely different
ask
thing.
you a question. What is the potential, hypothetical package that the Magic would send to get Anthony from the Blazers? Tell me that package, and you tell me if that package is for a motherfucker that you're bringing off the bench. Let's see.
I don't know. I don't know what the package is.
And that's why I don't think it's on.
But hypothetically, what would
It
you
would probably
assume?
include Gary Harris and Anthony Black, maybe.
Gary Harris is
They're not
that's
accepting
not
that.
Oh, true.
No
Maybe I
one.
don't know what the package is.
I wouldn't
I think
accept
according to
that
Megan
at
Hampton, it
least.
would be like one of the young. It would be an
That's
Anthony
for
Black,
sure.
or he
So something like Anthony Black was a 6th overall pick?
Gary Harris.
something like that, 5 or 6.
Yeah,
You're
Anthony
investing in a
Black.
6th overall pick.
You gotta add some draft
for a
picks
guy
to that.
that you just don't bring off the bench. I
Something,
don't think
because that's
I don't
just
think so.
that's not
I don't
that's
think
not
so.
enough.
There's no way you can convince me that.
That's why they wait.
What's the Pelicans lineup? Who's coming off the bench over
It
there?
really isn't. It really is just not enough.
Is DeJounte do you know?
DeJounte's starting for sure.
Okay. All right.
I think they're just praying that they can get Brandon Ingram
How
off
much
the
money
roster.
does I think so. How much money does Anthony Simons make?
Yeah, I think it's like
Like
around 20-something million.
That was like 25.
24, 25.
That man, he's a star. That man ain't coming off the bench, man. If he coming off your bench, you're not trading for him. I'm sorry. Anthony Simons ain't coming off the bench.
Not for the Magic.
Yeah, not for the
Because he won't be a Magic.
Yeah, that's
And that's why making a trade right now is just interesting because we're about to, like, it feel like we're close to camp. I know we're not, but that's what it feels
It does
like. Most
feel-
teams have their
Yes.
14, 15 man rotation on their roster right now. So we don't trade Anthony Simons. Like, what team is looking for a guard/combo to come in and score making $25 million right now? I think Jeremy Grant is more realistic.
I think it used to be the Magic, but then they signed KCP, and now you got to try to put your faith into Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if they were to go and trade for Jalen Suggs, it will. I mean, for Anthony Simons, it will to bring him in to start. You're not going and paying for Jalen Suggs and whatever his price is going to be from the Blazers, who have taken their time to find a trade for him. They could have been traded Anthony Simons if they wanted to. They haven't. They're not going to go in there and I'm giving up Anthony Black, my 6th overall pick, to go get this dude, and I'm going to bring him off the bench. Get the fuck out of here.
I wouldn't even. It just don't look like
trade
fit
to
the
make.
starting lineup for what they the identity of what they're trying to be.
I don't
They
see
got
them
the
making
defensive linebacker, more
anything
big
like
wings
that
and a
type
center.
of trade.
They would still be defensive minded with Anthony Simons. One Anthony Simons don't come and fuck up the whole thing. You still have KCP out there. You're still gonna have Franz, Paulo, and Wendell. Those are the same guys, and Jonathan Isaac. And this is the same team that gave you the defensive prowess that you had last year. Anthony Simons don't come in and just strip all of that shit out of the way. Hell no. No way.
Who got the next?
Everybody gave their question.
No.
Oh, well,
Yeah, what's your question?
it was such a good conversation.
No, it was about the point guard.
Oh, okay.
Mine is, does KCP help boost the 3-point shooting from them being the worst in the league? Like, how much does he help boost
KCP was a
the
good
just think about the
pickup
value
actually for
Mine
them.
was the same thing.
Because
as
getting
3-point
him,
shooting.
like it's
Still
3 and D.
That's still not enough. And
I
to
feel
me,
bad
that's
for the
yeah,
Nuggets for losing him. That's another thing. The Nuggets picking up Russell Westbrook. I don't know. It's gonna probably not do too much, but it's nice to have a hustle guy on the team at least.
That's the 20% max. So I don't know what the number actually is, but it's a lot of money.
Another veteran
I like
presence, of course.
Yeah.
But with how their team is now, it's not the same. So I'm not 100% sure.
You have to understand exactly what we have in Franz Wagner on a night-in-night basis. Like I said, I'm a fan of Franz Wagner. Have been when I was wanting him to go to the Kings. But when you get that type of bread, you got to come.
25% max, sorry.
This game is getting crazy.
$38 million, not this season, but the season after this. Then 41, 44, 47, 51 in the last year when he's 28 years old. I don't think, I know a lot of people have been questioning the contract. I don't think the contract's that bad. I don't think it's that bad either, but I think you do have to hoop. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we gotta get you back to the. Because when we were looking at Franz Wagner for last year, it was like, oh, that's one of them ones. You know, he's going to be really good in this league. And then last year, took a step back. And then Game 7, he was awful. What was it, Game 6? One of the Game 6 or Game 7? He was awful. And it's like,
1-16.
we know that's not who you are, but we also don't know who you are for real. So it's like, what can we do? But shout out to them for getting that goddamn bag.
I like their team, though. I like their team.
Do I just throw out a team and get it over with?
Oh, we looking for a team. The Bulls.
Okay.
Mine was Patrick Williams is ready to step up with the post-DeMar era. Like, we've seen him have productive moments when he wasn't playing with DeMar and Zach sometimes. So, like, what is
the Chicago Bulls?
Is he going to come out and show us?
But these guys, they're from Chicago, so they probably got a lot to say on it. But it's literally like, what are they doing? Like the front office. What is the front office doing?
I feel like we've seen in between.
I don't understand.
What's up, Bella? Mike?
I had put, like, what's the plan with Zach LaVine? Obviously, keep trying to trade him and everything. Yeah. And it feels like
they
the Bulls
keep
are
trying
really
to trade him, but they haven't.
Like they're trying to turn the page and just don't know how to.
That's the plan. Yeah, that's the plan. To trade Zach, but nobody wants it.
Literally. What's your question?
What the fuck is this team?
Okay, so my question. This is
literally what is this team? Like, what is going on?
My question was
the front office, because it's just pointless.
This big pot of Bulls shit.
Bullshit.
Yeah. My question is about everything that y'all saying. So yeah, Patrick Williams.
Who are you?
Who is he? You got Zach LaVine trying to get trade value. You're trying to figure out the direction of the team. You want to empower Kobe White. You just drafted Modest at 11 that you want to be able to give him some type of good foundation to his career. You also have Ayo. Like, who is Ayo? Like, there's so many different things going on, and it's like, who wins from all of that?
There's so many storylines for this weak-ass team.
You're going to, for real, trying to build up Zach LaVine's trade value could affect Kobe White's surgence as the guy.
Hey, Ayo averaged 18 last year. He's going to go back to the bench. He averaged 18 when he started. Yeah. We can go back to the bench? Like, that's crazy to me. But we also traded for a guard, and we can't get off Zach LaVine. You're not going to bring Zach LaVine off the bench because
I've never seen a player have more like, we can't find any suitors for this person. There's no trade value in contract.
It's not the player. It's the fact that he's making $50 million when he's not as good as the other $50 million players. And also,
I'm like more intrigued in these questions than playing right now. I probably should have got on Ben or Charles, to be honest. Because being on this build is just people looking for me to score, and I'm not really hitting anything because I haven't been on
Even now, it's like, when you look like they was going into a direction, it's still like, man, if you put too much focus on his Zach stuff, Kobe White and Ayo take a back seat. You put too much focus into Modest, now you pay $95 million to Patrick Williams, who has no identity. You try to get him an identity, and now Modest B. Zealous is on the bench with a distraughted rookie year. It's like something is not going to go right this year. We're like, oh man, we just can't even worry about Zach, and now you got to just keep $40-something million a year on your team because you can't find it's something. You know what I'm saying?
I think my least favorite part of it all is that we're going to be bad, which is fine, but we're also going to be bad with regression. Yeah. Like, my favorite thing is, like, if you're going to be a bad team, we want to see this player be better, this player be better. But, again, I'm not blaming Zach, because it's not him. His job is to go out there and play basketball, and he does that. But with him being on the roster still, and it still being Vucevic on this team, we're going to see the second and most improved player, Kobe White, probably not get as many touches. I would assume he's not going to get the touches that he should probably get. Hell, Lonzo Ball is still on the team. That's another storyline. He's on the roster and can play 5-on-5 again. This team sucks, and they have no direction.
I forgot about.
Yes, bro.
That Lonzo's coming back.
And and again, the front office, by all accounts, are not ready to tank. If they're going to do a Zach LaVine trade, they're trying to stay competitive. What the fuck? Did we not just watch Cooper Flag go against Team USA and have a ball? You don't want to have a chance to get that kid? Ace Bailey?
Yeah, they couldn't be tanking, but you can't even say that because they don't have any draft picks. So it's just I don't understand what the whole move was in the first place for this team. It's looking bad. It's looking very bad. The future is looking bleak.
He ain't got no brewery. He got ejected.
I told you he was wrong. I told you he was wrong.
He did.
No,
he on a bench. Stop it. He on a bench.
I'll give out the next team to get it over with. No disrespect to Brooklyn Nets fans, but like, it's the Brooklyn Nets right now. We know what your direction is. We agree with all the trades you've done so far, but damn it, I'm still gonna ask my question. Can you somehow find Diamond in the rough? Could Derek Whitehead become a part of the future? Could Zaire Williams, who you just took a flyer on, North County,
Jalen Wilson.
Jalen Wilson's good at something. Like, can you find a diamond in the rough to make it be like this is a setback year for one of the top picks? But can you find somebody else that's already on the roster that can be that other than Cam Thomas?
I basically got the same question.
Yeah,
is this Cam Thomas?
Yeah, that's what I was like, how good is Cam Thomas? Because, like, I felt like last year we saw glimpses of him where we like, damn, bro's he should be starting. But it was like, oh, maybe he is a sixth man. So, like, I felt like that he has this weird variance where, like, he looks like one of the best scoring guards in the league. And he's like, damn, he should be starting. But then it's like, maybe we should just chill on that.
But that's all they got right now.
Just figuring out who Cam Thomas is.
I basically had the same thing. Just how do you find success in this season? Obviously, they're traded away some pieces. They're looking to move Cam and Dorian Finney-Smith, but how do you find success in this?
Yeah. Finding a good place for Cam Johnson would be nice. They can find a maybe he's a diamond in the rough. Maybe he's comes out and he 29. No, but like maybe he comes out and he blossoms and we like, oh dang. I don't know.
Hey, I thought there was a glimpse when he had the series against Philly. He was throwing down dunks and stuff like that. I was like, maybe he do got a little jump.
You more optimistic if him blocking for something than and I thought Ant was your boy.
You look like Kobe White when he found out he got down.
Well, Daniel Tyson's a 26-year-old rookie.
But he also had an overseas career.
Yeah.
That's why Cam Johnson came out of college, 23 years old, ready for the league.
How old was Composite? Not Composite.
Pablo
Gianni?
He's like 35.
He was 35-year-old.
Got overseas.
Yeah, you get overseas there too.
Shout out to Pablo Gianni.
Yeah, coach. I forgot what coach is that.
Well, I thought he did coach the Rockets back in the day.
Wasn't it?
I think he's having the playoffs.
Yeah, he is. Yep. He is on the Timberwolves staff. Yep.
Can they do it?
He was 35 years old.
Max. Oh, Black Boy Max. Is that a 4-point play?
Oh my God! What game are we? I'm sorry for the people that's listening. 3 hours later, this game is getting very intense. So you know the outcome. We don't. All right. 3-point, potentially 4-point play with 10 seconds to go.
You don't tweet because I was ready to tweet because I did call.
I did tweet.
You did?
I did get a tweet out.
At the beginning of this podcast, I said they gonna do is I thought Ruby was going to have a game of his life.
He did 24 before he got ejected.
Oh, he did. Okay.
That Fowler 3-point shooter up 4 is so crazy, bro.
Somebody throw another team. Let's stay on track, but also
the Heat.
The Miami Heat.
Will Jimmy Butler take the reins seriously? With this being a contract year for him, and he wants to test the market. Is he going to
the Heat is questionable too. They always are a sneaky one. They could always make
a big year
make some type of run.
At least I would hope so.
You know,
unless he goes
and
to the
then
market,
Jimmy can always just turn it on because he's Jimmy. So you never know.
Even at that point, he would just not go to the Heat.
But they still got Hami Hawkins.
Is the blow next where
nice.
Jimmy Butler take the regular season serious?
Bam looked nice in the Olympics, but I don't know
he hasn't played a lot of games
to the season as much.
Outside of not taking the regular season serious. Then you just also have some team where I think
questionable.
The Heat can be always competitive. When you talk about the Bucks, you talk about the 76ers, you talk about the Celtics, you talk about the Knicks. You still got to respect the Cavs. The Magic are climbing. You just talk about all of these teams. I even think if you do take it serious and you are trying to compete and you are competitive, there's a world where you're just not good enough, and it's not a lot of avenues where they can, you know, get better because they sat on their hands. That's saying.
You perfectly put it, because my question is literally, what is the expectations? Because we look at the roster and we know it's not good enough. It's just, are you looking at Jimmy Butler to see if he can still do it? If not, or see if he's the answer. But everybody knows this roster is not good enough. And we know the expectation for the Heat is to be better. So I'm thinking next, is it going to be the blow up? Are we looking at, do we think Terry Rozier was the right move? It don't look like it so far. we think Tyler Hero's going to be the star of this team or anything like. They have a lot of questions, and none of it's really getting answered.
If you're not good enough right now, and you're not willing to extend and pay Jimmy Butler the money, and you're not good enough with him, well, how good are you going to be without him, especially if he walks? And that is going to lead down a bunch of different other questions you have to answer, because then it's like, what we doing with Tyler Hero? You know, obviously I don't think they traded Bam. You have Bam, Jaime Jaquez, Jovic, so Khalil Ware that they draft. I just don't. I don't know. But some type of moves will be on the horizon.
It's not. It's not bad. It's just they're not really doing anything for me. I mean, they are in the East though, so they probably still make the playoffs.
That has never been their
about
identity.
I
But
don't
over
see
the
them
last couple
doing
seasons,
anything
they've been just
crazy
kind of
unless
cool with
their
being who
matchup
they
has
are.
some
And that's just not the Miami Heat
injuries
that we
and they
grew
go
up
on a
with.
run like the
So they
Pacers did.
who are the guys
It's like
they've been linked to?
literally
Bradley Beal. It looks like that was the right decision. Maybe to skip out on that one.
Yep.
Who else?
Donovan Mitchell, but he signed his extension.
Kevin Durant. When he was leaving Brooklyn,
they had Damian Lillard talk. Dame.
Oh, Dame was the biggest name.
Dame is the one.
They're just always in the mix, but haven't been able to do it for some time, and that's just again not the Heat way. So it's just very weird to see them have an offseason where they didn't really do anything, and they're saying like, hey, us adding Terry Rozier at the deadline is our offseason because we didn't really get to see what he looks like with the full team. But sure, I understand the idea behind it, but do we look at the Celtics and say that we compete with them for real? And if we do that, do we feel the same way about Philly? Do we feel the same way about New York? Do we feel the same way about Indiana? Do we feel like they're kind of okay?
Probably
so
not.
Pat Riley, wake the fuck up because you're not getting the most out of the Bam Adebayo era, and you should be.
Yeah, they've kind of weird to see a team that went to the finals and regressed ever since. They've literally just backtracked ever since then.
And granted, they've had some really bad injury luck over the last couple seasons, but that can't be the excuse every year.
Run was a run.
I felt like March Madness, bro.
Yeah.
I felt like March Madness.
And they've lost pieces off the team. I mean, I'm not saying that they missing them, but what's my boy name? Vincent left. Caleb Martin is gone. Max Strus is gone.
Yeah, they lost a lot of their. They like since they're in the East, I can still see them making the playoffs or the play-in.
Oh yeah.
Like, other than that, probably not doing that much.
Nobody wants Vito. So like a lot of these teams that are trying to make moves, they got to find that third team to get involved, and nobody wants their other players.
They're ready to root for him, Derek. He's going to Portland.
Who's going to Portland?
D'Lo. And a Jeremy Grant package.
Oh yeah, it sounds like
they've been talking about that. I still don't know if that's going to happen or not. That would be a nice pickup though. Us getting Jeremy Grant, getting rid of D'Lo. I would like that.
It's good to go for the playoff like that.
Both Paul George and
we got to reserve both.
Yeah, we got to somehow make sure both of them are ready for playoff time because neither one of them have consistently shown that they can play through a full playoff run.
Yeah. Mine was, can they afford a buck per year? I mean, like most of these people have never played together.
Yeah, like a year of gelling.
Yeah, and would Jonah be
good?
That's what I think. I think they just need
How many more years does he have as one of the top whatever players in basketball?
But yeah, they definitely need 1 year.
Oh, he is. Can you afford for it to be?
I could see them making it to the conference finals though.
We just don't see teams add a superstar player in a lot of cases. I'm saying that for Paul George. And immediately become the champion.
Other than that,
right? It usually takes some time to get used to a new situation, new coaching, new everything. But they brought some people back, Kyle Lowry, Kelly Olynyk, and so on and so forth. But a lot of this team is brand new playing together. Did I say Kelly Olynyk?
Yeah. Oh, my fault. Kelly Olynyk. I counter to that, and I agree with you because it's just hard to do that. And it's not like Paul George went to the Clippers and he just got them a championship or anything like that. But I think he should be one of the more people that's like easier to kind of move into the spot just because I don't think he demands really the touches. Like, I think that Philly's probably going to still run a very similar type of way. It's just a lot of those shots Tobias was probably getting and a lot of those times he got his numbers called. It's Paul George.
Lord, no, please call that man's number way more than Tobias Harris. Are you kidding?
Yeah. But my point is, it's not like they need him to drop 25 plus a night.
They will.
Yeah,
you think so?
When they come playoff time, yeah, they're going to need that.
They need Paul George to be effective. I get what you're saying, but I also don't think Paul George is like Luke Kennard.
No.
Yeah, he is going to demand the ball. He's going to need a lot of shot attempts, and you're going to want him to be sharp.
Aggressive. Yeah.
You just don't want him to. He's just not going to disrupt the flow of Embiid and Maxey, but you definitely want him to be aggressive.
Yeah, I think he's very portable in this type of situation.
But them losing, I think with them losing Tobias, getting Pollard,
I think he's a true professional at this point. To where like he's gonna come in and he's gonna play his role, but he's also
playmaking type of wing.
You're still gonna
to be
get
honest,
because
PG can also play.
Doing his thing, but he's also gonna defer to Joel and Maxey a lot of nights. And he's gonna be playing like that facilitator. I'm gonna get mad when I can type role, and I think he's just gonna relieve a lot of pressure off of Joel and Maxey, especially come out those last 5 minutes of the game. No longer just give it to Joel and everybody just watch.
I mean, you can still do that. Just be ready to shoot. PG be ready to shoot. Max be ready to shoot. Get their little touches in.
You know what I'm saying? Just
and
like
it's pretty much
last year when
it
Max
from there.
As a Knicks fan in that series, I wasn't worried about Embiid. Embiid kind of gonna do what he gonna do. But when Maxey is hitting, it's like, what are we doing? Because it's like naturally you want to double team Embiid, but it's like, no, don't double team. Because now Maxey's open.
Now Maxey's coming in looking swole.
I gotta go back and check like the first quarter points for Joel Embiid because I swear he had like 14, 15 in the first quarter,
and then
the rest of the other people start trying, like Tyrese start getting into it. You know, Tobias will eventually start getting into it. All the other players, but Joel getting his 15 to damn near 20 in that first quarter.
Oh, for sure. Another team we could jump into. Let's go ahead and do. Let's do Indiana. Matt, what's the future for Benedict Matthews?
Hey, we kind of have the same thing.
What's the true direction there with Andrew Nembhard taking this big jump and looking like he's like the clear-cut starting guard next to Halliburton? So, like, what are y'all going to do with him? Are y'all planning on him being there for a part of the future? Or is he someone y'all planning on trading?
Yeah, I had odd man out.
The Pacers, they still got their same team.
You got Tyrese Halliburton.
Like they
so what you got for me, coach? You can practice all day long, but you gotta put it to
not too high on them. It's just their little run they had to the playoffs. Like
you have
most of the teams they played against were injured and beat
Jarris
up.
Walker, Pascal
But
Siakam,
they
Obi
still
Toppin,
have a
Isaiah
chance to
Jackson,
do
Miles
something.
Turner.
They definitely make
so
the
many
playoffs,
names
but
and bodies.
it's about
that is
all
just
I
like,
can say.
We know by now. We've done this a lot of years.
Just
injuries
or something.
Somebody ain't getting a piece of the pie.
Nembhard definitely though.
I ain't trying to put Benedict Mathurin on the trade block, but you just
I don't know about Benedict because he was going good in the regular season, so I ain't gonna just count him out. Just gotta see how he fits in now.
Because if you think about the Eastern Conference, we keep talking Boston, we keep talking Philly, we talk New York, we talk Milwaukee. That's already 4 teams that you're probably taking over Indy. And then we've had the conversation where you may be taking the Cavs.
I would take Orlando as well.
So like if that is where you're at, then you got Indiana number 7.
Yeah.
So how do we prevent that from being a reality? Yeah. Is it just okay? Tyrese is completely healthy now. When the playoffs he wasn't. Another year of Pascal Siakam. Again, we do have Andrew Nembhard looking better and better every time he touch a court.
And they did pick up Pascal a little bit later in the season.
Basically, like,
so,
is there another level to this team? Because I agree with
see
you.
how it goes like for a full season.
They were at their best when they were just one of the offensive juggernauts. They did need the defense.
To be honest, it's just,
but they were standing like they were scoring 120, 130 points regardless.
They was giving up 139.
Yeah. No, when I thought they looked the best once.
The defense was kind of like
3 weeks of Pascal Siakam is when I was like, okay, this team is pretty good.
I thought they were at their peak when they were just like, we're gonna outscore you.
Well, that was when Tyrese was healthy during those first like 40 or so.
The in-season tournament,
yeah.
Tyrese. Yeah.
I ran into Miles Turner in Vegas.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In our hotel?
Well, I took Austin with me when I went to go see A-Squared.
Could it be like
he was in there?
Sacramento. Remember they had that really good offense. Not even just focused on the offense, but like they had a lot of players that had really good years. So Tyrese, Miles Turner, I think had his All-Star like year last year, and they took a step back and they're not as good as they were last year.
It's possible. I mean, because it is a decent parallel because the Sacramento year they were the best offense in the league, and then the year after that they dropped a little bit, and that was enough for them to make the playoffs.
I ain't scored a point.
I don't know.
It happens.
He's hype.
Any other things for the Pacers?
Nah.
the next thing?
What's the next thing? Let's see.
Thank goodness All-Star
Let's go Milwaukee.
weekend in San Francisco.
Not the Milwaukee's Dame ready to play at the level we know he's doing. Like, I feel like last season he was dealing with a lot off the court to where he really wasn't locked in the game. He even said he's
The Bucks. Your whole question for Dame, and we covering the Bucks.
Yeah.
You know what? Can you say your question one more time?
You love Dame.
Is Dame ready to play at the level that we know he can play at?
I had two questions for them, and one was, can Woody unlock the full Damian Lillard? Because I feel like for them to be at their full potential, they need that 30
They need to do something. They need to figure out the Dame and Giannis combo. It's the main thing.
I mean, he could execute defense, but I don't know.
Bro, I was
older, the back is definitely a problem. But
I can always tell when we're late in the show because the thought process is don't be going. No,
but I was talking to people in my stream. We was all talking like it's probably looking like Bucks gonna go like the Giannis at center way and go a different way. And I think it was the GM came out and was like, we're not looking to trade Brooklyn. We're like, he's not but he's still like a big part of our championship roster.
They could. I think they could. They put together to win a chip, yeah, but I don't see them in championship or bust just yet. One last year they were injured, so I'm gonna give them another year or two. If they keep Dame and Giannis together, I give them another year or two. But I'm not treating them like everyone did with Paul George and Kawhi. I'm not treating them like that.
Said that Dame didn't work out all summer. They get rid of him, and now Doc Rivers has a full offseason to maximize the defense, get the offense ready, and they need their camp to matter more than any other team's camp. Because these other teams either have some continuity or maybe a little bit less pressure, like you mentioned. I agree. The Bucks have some of the highest pressure in all of basketball to not compete for it. So they have not been healthy in the postseason, or Giannis have been healthy in the postseason since 2021. So he wants to be healthy and he's going to play at the level we know them to be. In this training camp, this offseason, they needed to really put together.
I think I get the feeling that Giannis and Dame they get the feeling too, and they know that it starts with them. I'm being for real. I mean, Dame.
Every time I see you that you say he wrong.
You know it's crazy because you already know it. When I first seen him, I had never seen dude before. I just said he's always we talked about the Bucks too, right? Yeah, you gonna tell you you gotta stop with the distraction.
I'm sorry. You threw over this whole thing. You could just go on to another thing.
First for the Bucks where they should come in. They're letting them do it?
Come on, shoot.
Oh, we got a game. That's bad podcast. Let's stay live. I'll give the next two. Cleveland Cavaliers. My question is, how long can we be patient? Because I honestly feel like they're trying to wait out some of these bigger teams. Like the Boston Celtics can't be the Boston Celtics for more than like 2 more years.
Cavs.
Some of these other teams are going to the Bucks are going to
Another one, like I said, I think Darius probably getting out of there.
I don't think they like they can be less real when it comes to a 7-day series with a lot of those teams. They just fall a little bit short, but they also come on and Darius Garland to have a bounce back.
They still got the
where it's not
squad.
going to be this year, but how long until
that 7-game series though showed me that the Magic definitely can give
maybe it could be
all the other teams problems too.
When it all comes down to it, make anybody go. I don't know. And honestly, when I keep thinking about it now, I'm like, maybe they could have been a team that's like, you know what? Let's go get DeMar DeRozan and try to put us over that top because we need somebody to score the ball.
That's what I did in my 2K season.
They should have been the team that was like, maybe we should go get DeMar.
In my 2K series, for the trade deadline last season, I be kind of controlling everybody, and I made him go there. So it's just like, why not? And they went to the finals.
The other thing is, another question besides that was, I feel like it's probably
yeah, I said
Allen or Mobley.
How do they get better? Was my question. This is saying we just gonna keep bringing.
If they get better,
ideas
then
like
I could
two
see
back
them.
court, two front court, and we just trying to
Could see
figure
them
out
doing something.
the best one.
Right now, I don't see them making any other moves. It's going to be getting much better in the offseason.
How long will you do?
Pretty
How
much
long will you just actually have in order to make this work? I know you're not firing him, but
maybe Evan Mobley get better.
If Sherry's going to the Magic, then he's
Next team, Hornets.
Can LaMelo stay healthy? That was pretty much my big question.
I think if LaMelo can't stay healthy, what's the pivot?
2025.
Brandon Miller. His second year in the play. And then, like they said, LaMelo.
They could win 35 games. I feel
you got Mark Wu. Yep. Then you got LaMelo Ball. Then we got
Josh Green hasn't scored in the Olympics so far. He's played 2 games. He's played 40 minutes. He's still playing 40 minutes total between the 2 games. He's trying to put the ball in the basket. It could be Josh Green.
Yeah, I thought it was.
It could be Josh Green, Brandon Miller, and them as the wings.
Bryce McGowan.
Maybe I don't like the roster.
Nick Smith Jr.
Again, I'm not saying that you trade LaMelo to be in the 2025 lottery.
I had that question now because it was the same. I feel like it was them and unanimous. Can we get a healthy LaMelo? But if not, you start entertaining the idea of a trade with him too.
I've seen a lot of ways. Trey Man's on the roster too. Could be him.
Trey Man's just
a lot of guys I traded LaMelo while he's still really, really valuable. And I don't really like that idea because it's not like they coexist. Again, we only had a small sample size of them together. It's not like David Harris is ISO heavy. It's like they could coexist. The only thing is they might be maybe slightly better than what you want going into the 25 draft. But this team has been bad for like our whole life. It will be okay if
part of that reason of them not kind of like going through the progression they probably even want is because dude can't really play over like 30 games.
My thing is,
last time he was supposed to be about 5 games.
I think he played around 60-some games. If I'm not mistaken.
They just gotta be worried. They have 4 or 5 seasons. You only gave me maybe 1 or 2 was like a healthy season.
They were 43-39 the year that he played 75 games. That was his sole All-Star season. Since then, 36 games, they won 27. And then last year, 22 games, so they won 21 games.
They looked when he was playing early in the season. They looked good. They might have played the Celtics, and they were kind of. When he's playing, they have a chance, but they need him to play.
Yeah, I think LaMelo had he spells with the Celtics.
36-9-9.
Damn.
Just about keeping him on the court, man. But I mean, some teams they sell him LaMelo. A lot of teams will pick up the phone, man.
Oh no! Don't even start, bro.
You gonna bring your family back?
That sounds crazy.
You got LaMelo playing the 2 because he's still there.
The Wizards. Will Kuzma retire a Wizard? That was my question. Because what they doing, bro?
I don't know. I put can Alex Sarge thrive at the 4 because obviously they just picked up Valanciunas too.
I think that's what they're going to do, put him at the 4.
I don't know.
That's the only thing I think of, either that or they're going to have Valanciunas come off the bench. I'm not sure what they're doing with that. I don't know if they're expecting him to be a Wemby or what, but
You can trade him.
definitely not looking good.
Get some assets in return. You have him get that financial security while he rehabs. It's a really good sign, man.
Who signed him?
The Wizards. He's like happy stuff put in that facility, but he's on the roster.
I forget that they signed.
Did he? Yeah. So he probably will not play. If he plays now, that's a tradable piece. They did the same thing with Sean Holmes. Sean Holmes ain't as tradable as Sadiq Bey, but like he signed one of those smaller contracts with the idea that one day we might throw you on the trade package to go get some future stuff. I think the young dude over there is doing pretty damn good. I don't think it's considered. I thought they had a good draft. I like the 3 players that they got. Two of them look really good in the summer league.
And then the one that did was your second overall pick.
Yeah, you still got a lot of them.
Did we see Bilal playing?
Yes,
he was playing.
I don't remember seeing him on the court.
Mm-hmm. What's more important, play-in or lottery? Raptors.
Oh,
because they have a team that is.
That's another one. I don't know what they're doing either.
Make the playoffs,
I gotta double check this, but I think that they're picking base the Spurs now
questionable
because of the Yakapolo trade, and they kept it from this year. It was like protected top whatever this year. The next year it turns into an unprotected. I'm gonna double check that, but I feel like they got that.
I was looking at their roster too, and I was like, okay, because they got a lot of nice pieces. My question was like, you got all the supplies. How do you kind of draw the picture? Brought in the quickly and stuff like that last year after finally moving on from like OG and Pascal. So now you have it. But what do you got to figure out what you want next to Scotty Barnes? And probably IQ at this point too.
You got IQ, RJ Barrett.
RJ Barrett's been hooping.
Scotty Barnes. And you got Yakapolo. The shooting guard.
They're not gonna probably start Grady Dick, but eventually I feel like they want to move from him to like Grady Dick.
No, I'm mistaken. So, double check this. They already conveyed the pick. That was Rob Dillingham. 8th overall pick to the Spurs. So they do own the all first round of this year.
Oh yeah, Bruce Brown started. Because they opted into that contract and I hope to trade him.
I just didn't need over it.
Y'all like this part? Very interesting. They want those 2 first round picks though.
Bro, the name somebody my Lakers not interested in. You. Your fandom. If I had enough doubt they would.
My question for the Raptors is playing the middle gonna work? Like Scotty Barnes and right? Will continue to progress. But they're really banking on either Quickie or RJ Barrett to also hit a big jump. And if they don't, then again they're gonna have the 9th overall pick every single season. So they need one of those other dudes to pop off. RJ's averaging 35.5 since the trade. He's 43 for 63.
I don't see RJ making a jump.
Right? Best player in the league. But they need at least one of those 2 guys to really pop off. And if we do real, they kind of need both of them.
They both. Yeah, no. You're expecting big jumps from everybody in order for them to be that legit play-in team.
Yeah.
If they was bad though, would you be mad at it? Like I feel like they have time to do what they have.
That's why like, what are they gonna like lay their hat on? Are they gonna be ready to defensively? Are they gonna be a fast offensive? Like what's the true identity? And I'm interested to see what
I feel like for the past 10 years, it's just been 6'8" forward who can defend everything.
Yeah.
Now it's not.
Yeah, that's now it's like a whole new identity. I'm trying to figure out what's the true establishment that they.
Well, if you was 6'8", had some length, you was getting the job at Toronto.
Oh, for sure.
Nick, did the Hawks yet?
No. Okay. No.
Are these the last 5 months of Trae Young as a Hawk?
That's crazy.
My question was literally around the same thing as like, you're just is it the belief in Trae Young year? Because I mean, you kind of got rid of not really got rid of the like John
traded or him moving on.
Like
they've been saying, like when the season was going on, I literally thought he was going to the Spurs.
How do they feel? Do they feel like they could continue to go with Trae Young, or they feel like they want to hit the 4 reset? I really
gotta hit the 4 reset at that point. You gotta go with some assets.
Is Dyson Daniels the less is more fit next to Trae? That was my question.
Man, not a bad question.
If he can shoot, that'd be possible.
I'm gonna just write a book called The Less is More Theory.
Bill Simmons did it in his foot with the basketball. He called it the Patrick Ewing theory.
Oh, so he didn't do it.
It's the same theory.
I'm gonna read that one. I was like an 8 foot.
Y'all see pictures of him with him and Keontae George? He's slow.
They did some type of trade with him, and
I gotta look at
he
him.
won't be be able to get traded or something like that.
Skateboarding.
I don't know if it's a no trade clause, but they set it up in his contract. Laurie is staying on the Jazz now. No one can trade for him. The rest of this
Bro,
year.
Keontae George is so young. He's like a little, he got that. Yes, bro. He got the look here, smile on him too.
That's why I wonder that doesn't sound like so fun. You just wake up and you need to go to any random event.
For real? Is that how it works? Or you need to take it?
I mean, you probably have to buy a ticket. But it's like there's so many sporting events going on.
It's like a buffet.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, so it's like a more tennis.
I mean, there probably is a package. You probably can definitely pay more.
Sound like a lot of
Yeah,
money.
like fast pass.
Yeah. I would love to be able to wake up and be like, what's going on today?
What you think they eating over there?
In Paris? I don't know. I don't know what the food staple is in Paris.
You my food guy.
Come get it.
All right.
Or escargot. How many things do you know?
Oh, we haven't done both.
Yeah, we didn't do the Pistons.
How good can we be at the beginning of the season without Porzingis? Porzingis was a big part of the beginning of the season. He was so damn good that, like, how good are they without?
Yeah,
I think you just tough it out. Does it matter?
I think they can still play
I think
without
that they're having home court is
Porzingis.
important
They shown
for
that.
playoff series against some of the other teams.
They did
So
that
being
whole
one of the
playoff
best
series
is
without.
important. They also don't have much depth at that position at all,
They don't.
but they also are super talented, so they'll probably still make it work.
But also, like, thinking of, without Porzingis, kind of how Horford has to play a big increase in minutes throughout the regular season. You don't want your old vet playing that many minutes. Eventually, he's going to get burned out. At least you would hope. Not hope, but like,
They getting center Tatum.
Xavier Tillman, Luke Cornett. Go listen, man. I don't know. I just don't want to overthink it.
Yeah, my question is, I mean, can they be better than last year? I think every time it's like a repeat, teams get better. Like the
Respect
teams,
the Celtics, boy.
I mean, every team trying to match up with them, honestly, or at least get to that level.
Oh, for sure. They're just every team that's down the team will beat.
So, Detroit Pistons.
How does this team look like an actual basketball team?
Yeah. Like, can we not lose 20 in straight games? Like,
and it's crazy that's expectations for your basketball team is not to lose 28 in a row. They just got. How do you make the non-shooters like work though? Obviously, bring in Tobias Harris, but like a lot of your young players struggle shooting the ball.
They got one of the best shooting coaches in basketball on the roster now. So
They do.
maybe you can get a Star Thompson / Ron Holland jump shot to Paul. My question is very similar to the Knicks one. What is considered a successful season for a team that's been rebuilding for 6 years?
I think for them, they got to show progress. Like, I think we see teams be bad, but you got to see some sort of silver lining where you're like, okay.
Say your famous line. If you're going to suck.
If you're going to suck, you got to suck good. And you got to be able to make yourself look like a competent team. You just can't be out there losing 27 or 20 straight games.
I was like, oh, that team looks nice. They just beat the Blues, like 50.
We always have that one team that just get up to a hot start.
And that's crazy. The 2-0 or 2-1 was considered a hot start for the Pistons. That's how bad they were.
Nobody knew they was going to lose 20-something games in a row after that.
Can you imagine how much money you would have been able to make if you bet on a 20-game losing streak?
They had that. I think you were Terrence was saying that like if you would have bet accumulatively over that streak, you would have won like the year.
If you started off with $5 on the first block and cut against the Pistons, you would have walked away.
No, you could have won too.
That and Christian McCaffrey touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, he did go through. He was like getting touchdowns like this.
I watched the receivers though, and I understand it's not about Christian McCaffrey, but he was only in it like once. And again, it's about receivers. I mean, he's the guy, and they made like the playoffs feel like the receivers thing. But Christian McCaffrey is a dog, and he scored like 100 touchdowns. They didn't show any of them. They only showed the Deebo Samuel. Because he was
Can't be the only person I'm going to watch receivers doc and be like, where Christian McCaffrey?
On that, my country, I just put CMC every season.
Okay. He my fastest player.
I just got Chris Johnson.
He my fastest player. He got to play the slot. He can get down too.
I don't even know why I went with that. I'm not going to play that shit like I thought I would.
I'm still playing it though. Is there any other? Did we go through all 15 teams?
We went through all 15 teams.
Okay.
I just said we went through all 15 teams. I'm double checking.
I'm triple checking. I got one more thing if y'all want to do it, or we can save the next episode. Say it then.
What was the gym thing?
Say it. Alright, and then like the seasons don't change much between now and next episode.
Yeah, no, I've been watching this show for Blue Lost anyway.
It's good. Sounds like an anime show.
It is.
It's on Netflix. It's real good. It's real good. Anime still hasn't been anything that I've ever.
Is it anime or is it animated?
God.
It's animated.
Oh, it's anime.
So that was the Eastern teams that they talked about mostly. And to the Western teams.
Welcome back in. So this was something I wanted to go over last episode.
Yeah, right.
These people voted for. Does that make sense? Who had the best NBA offseason?
The Thunder.
They're probably either.
I would say the Thunder or the Knicks.
The Knicks. Yeah, the Knicks.
And what do y'all think the people voted?
The Thunder. The Thunder.
No, the Knicks.
The 8 votes. Again, we're only talking about 18 different people that voted. 8 of the votes went to the Philadelphia 76ers. And then 5 went to the Knicks, 3 went to the OKC Thunder, and 2 went to the Boston Celtics. What team had the worst offseason?
Miami Heat.
Or
what's up, JC?
Clippers.
Or Lakers. The Lakers.
Oh yeah, they probably voted the Lakers as having the worst stuff.
They voted. The Denver Nuggets had the worst offseason.
Hey, they know what they do. That's a good one.
Second place, Chicago.
Running everything.
Third place, LA Clippers. Fourth place, Lakers. Fifth place, Pistons. Sixth place, the Knicks got a vote. I like how the Bulls. I like how the Bulls got adjusted.
The Bulls were second, and the Lakers did nothing, and it's still fourth.
Well, bringing back a playoff team, it's done. But like, as well, playoff team, the Bulls.
Fuck out on everything that y'all won.
And that's what happens with every team. Can't get
like, you literally had to make that judgment.
That might be a blessing in disguise because he's not with every other offseason they come in feeling like they needed to make these crazy stupid moves. It's like continuity is a thing.
Well, that's what they did the year.
Yeah, we did that last year when we brought everybody back on like 2-3 years ago.
We just brought in Gabe Vincent, right? Yeah, that's it.
This is kind of weird. The all-stars to get.
We did bring nobody.
Nobody want to play?
So we just said, I don't know.
You're creative. It was gonna be bad when Klay Thompson seemed like he could have been right there for the Lakers, and he said, "Nah, Dallas is the better option. I'm gonna go over."
Well, you're not a Paul George.
What team? I mean, what was the best individual
Like,
Mikal
That is cool.
the number one vote was Fourth was KCP signing with the Magic. Fifth was Rob Dillingham being drafted by the Wolves, and number 6 was Mikal Bridges traded.
No way, that's number 5.
Rob Dillingham drafted.
What was the worst movie y'all seen?
Tobias
Harris.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
The number one was Chicago's part and DeMar DeRozan said. 2 second-round picks for and then tied Sacramento's part in the DeMar DeRozan. Nobody won except for the Spurs. 3 people said Paul George signing to the 76ers.
Gotta be
2 people said Denver losing
No way.
KCP. Also,
That's
2
not
people said
offensive.
Mikal Bridges traded to the Knicks. One person
Thought
said
those were
DeJounte
good.
Murray traded to the Pelicans.
picks.
One person said Evan Mobley's extension. One person said the Lakers' inactivity. One person said Isaiah Hartenstein signed to OKC. And then another person said Chicago's part in the Alex Caruso, Josh Giddey.
Why is it just the price tag of Isaiah Hartenstein?
I think that's included for you. Like, if they would have had a bigger you know, the time.
They paid for just $15 million. But they have to be.
What is the most surprising move of the offseason?
Except Mikal Bridges. I ain't gonna lie. I hate to keep saying that.
No, it was definitely the most surprising. I did not think he was going to
I feel like that was so good. Like, we knew it was going to happen.
The extension from Brunson.
Now that we talk about it with hindsight, that was very surprising. I don't think I was going to see the Cleveland team so good. So we didn't say
What is the biggest teams navigating the new tax aprons? Teams trying to figure out if you want to go second apron, if you not want to go second apron. Hard half that way. On a scale of 1 through 5, how beneficial do you think the CBA rules have been this offseason?
Beneficial?
Yeah, I'd say like a 1.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
You got 4 votes for 5 out of 5. 6 votes for 4 out of 5, 3 votes for 3 out of 5, 4 votes for 2 out of 5.
I mean, it's cool for the player movement, but it's also like, I feel like we don't get to see teams at their fullest with this move.
And last one, will there be anything for the 2025 draft?
No.
I don't think you'll see noticeable things, but
That's my thing there. Like, yeah, like, teams are going to tank because they don't really have a choice. It's like, we're good, but we shut down shit. Like, oh, yeah, the Rockets, we're going to shut down.
I don't think teams will take it on purpose. That's a very
I don't think
questionable move. Made no sense. Didn't add anything.
I just remember tanking.
Maybe roster even worse.
I think tanking is used too loosely now because we really tank. The Philadelphia 76ers, like, if you are good, you cannot be on our team. We don't want good basketball players. We want rookies or trash players. And, or G League, but we're going to take G League talent and give them NBA opportunities. I don't see anybody doing it like that.
I think it has a lot to do with playing the odds.
I think teams are just going to stuff.
You trying to tell me I'm going to be 5 total wins for a 14% chance? It's not worth it.
Yes, it's not.
And the team that has been the worst has not won the first overall pick in like 6 years. So it's like, do we need to be the worst team? No, we just need some good luck at the end of the day. Now, if it was still a 25%, like that era with the 76ers, then it makes sense. That's how you end up with Ben Simmons and the eventual third pick that you traded up to get Markel Fultz. Like, you end up guaranteeing yourself a top 3 pick in a lot of cases. Not anymore. It's like, why be that bad? Let's try to develop some of the young dudes instead of trading their ass away. But that's it.
Yeah, Portland is just going to be bad this year. Not because they are trying to. It is our fun.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
15,000.
Not really trying to think.
That's like 18.
Well, Grizzlies have about 2 of their best players live on the space of the whole season. And they were still better than the Blazers.
Hey, they were thinking that.
The Spurs.
The Grizzlies.
Spurs had Jeremy Sohan trying to run point guard. Still ended up with more wins than the Blazers. The Blazers got a decent, like, they got people on their roster. That's what makes it surprising.
At least they're
very rough at the beginning of the season.
Give me your Portland question. Let's just get into what we're talking
They're
about.
going in an actual direction.
The question was, what's considered a winning team? Like, what's considered a good team?
Wizards,
After being
Blazers,
You think they make the play-in?
Like,
the bottom
Can they
few
make
things, but at least they're
I wouldn't
actually
judge. For me, I
going
would
in
like
a
to judge
direction for the
Successful
future.
season off wins and losses. I think
Yeah,
it's
it was more so like
development.
player development. Like, what's the next step for Stu? Like, what are we going to see from him? I'm going to get. What you going to do with those 3 guards is essentially also a question. Like, you have 3 guards there that all deserve minutes. It's kind of hard to work in 3 guards when you're talking about Scoot, Shaden, and Anthony Simon. Kind of a lot going at. The 3 guard thing, you got to figure that out. You got to find your 2. And you got to potentially try moving on.
My question for him is, how long can you rebuild and your fan base still be okay? They're going into year 4. This is year 4. And I wouldn't say they're closer now than they were when they first started to making the playoff appearance.
Year 4?
This is year 4.
Dame
was on the team, but they were ass.
Yeah, I got Shade Sharp and
they won 27 games, 33 games, and 21 games. This is year 4 of maybe not the tank, but or the rebuild, but of being bad.
Yeah, I was a little puzzled by that because I thought when you have Damian Lillard, you want to technically rebuild it.
They weren't gonna make it.
Yeah, but they weren't.
If you ask, you rebuild.
They was 11th, right? They was 11th out west.
But this is going on year 4 of their fans not having playoff success, and before that, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 straight years of being in the playoffs.
That was Dame and CJ.
Right, but you don't have anything that's close to making you feel like that's on the horizon.
Yeah, no.
Scoot Henderson didn't play well his rookie season. I ain't sold the stock in it, but it's like, when do we find, like, okay, this is where we're going to not accelerate it. We're trading all of our draft capitals to be the 10th seed, but we want to see some type of progress.
I don't
think they're doing.
I think there is a rush by the fan base.
No, there's no need that rush. There's nothing.
So if you're in year 7 of a rebuild, you still there excited?
No, but I'm saying, like, right now on the roster, everybody is so damn young. There's no need to even
they got
we have to start getting competitive.
No, that's
I
not
was
what I'm
thinking that
saying
too,
either, though.
Yeah, I was thinking that too because they are young as hell on that roster. They have, I mean, the oldest players were like
probably DeAndre Ayton.
But
DeAndre Ayton
pretty much just
no, he's not.
rebuild.
Oh, he's on the Wizards.
Jeremy Grant's still there.
Jeremy Grant's still there.
I
And then
agree
it's
with
like,
KB
I would
saying
like that trade
because
to
of a
happen.
couple of things.
Jeremy
One of my
Grant for
questions
D'Lo.
was kind of similar to
Come
yours.
to the Lakers.
My thing was like, what's the goal for Ant and Jeremy Grant? But also for me, it's like they're rebuilding, and we understand that. But even with them rebuilding, I don't understand the direction of this team because you brought in Scoot, but you still have Anthony Simons, who you high on and you really like. Then you also got Shaden Sharp. You also have like DeAndre Ayton, who's not the greatest player, but he's
still a starter. I think he's still a starting center.
So where it's like you kind of hide there. You go and you get Denny. He's really good.
Yeah.
You didn't move Jeremy Grant at all.
Yeah.
That's for Danny.
What are you doing?
And that's what one of my questions was about you got 3 centers. You got 3 centers. Like, is there going to be some point
Donovan Clingan, like
Robert Williams? We got to see if Robert Williams is going to play this season too.
I just think that, like, we have teams in the association like the Detroit Pistons who've been technically in a rebuild for 7 years. The Trailblazers aren't going into year number 5. Did I say 4 or 5? You said 4. They're going into year number 4. But again, I don't see.
I never really viewed it as a 4-year rebuild, but I do see what you're saying.
I mean, again, maybe it's not a rebuild, but just of being bad, of missing the playoffs and stuff like that.
I thought what they fully brought in is when they traded Dame.
For sure.
That's like, so essentially to me, it feels like a year rebuild.
Right. But we could argue that those 2 years leading up, the writing was on the wall for the Trailblazers the moment CJ McCollum was traded away, basically. Like, we're not going to be able to build around Dame. And even we, for years in the offseason, like, when Dame going to give up on the grind? When Dame going to give up on the grind? When they going to trade? When they going to trade him? And maybe they waited a year or two too long. And part of it is like they haven't drafted necessarily great. Again, I love Shaden Sharp as a player. I ain't giving up on Scoot Henderson. But when you have those years of being in the lottery 4 years in a row, you want to have something like that guy's our one. That is the guy. Yeah. And maybe, again, Shaden Sharp has potential to be that, but we just haven't really been able to see him play throughout his career so far.
Yeah. I mean,
you hit it right there. Shaden Sharp is the player that I think he is, and it comes to life, it's a whole different conversation. It's like everything kind of falls.
Or Shaden Sharp are the guys
It's like a puzzle. Right now, they just got all the pieces. Once you get that cave, it's like, okay, this is the middle part, and now we can just or they don't even have to be, you don't have to be represented paid. It just feels like Detroit has some type of structure of like that's their guy, or any of these.
They got Jalen Duran
or the Raptors. You know, Scotty Barnes. You got Scotty Barnes, and you was able to now go out and get Quickly and RJ, and now you start to see, oh shit, okay, we got a couple things here. What can Grady Dick become? What could Jacoby Walter? And now you kind of forming some shit. It just feels like they should scatter because you got 3 centers, you got 3 guards. You just acquired them. You kind of him and Jeremy Grant are kind of a little bit similar in a certain sense. So it's like I don't know. I love some of the stuff that they got. And I like Thunder.
Yep.
What other team like?
Let's go on. The Lakers.
I'll go with my Lakers. And I put for mine is I'm desperate to make it move this season.
Yeah, always go get Jeremy Hill, right?
Yeah, mine is like, what's next? It's like, y'all this is going to go off. So like that's very unlikely, but it's also like y'all just literally can get it.
I'm scared for that.
I know.
We just got 2 of the healthiest leaders from Brown and the Wild. And
Anthony Davis
They're great in the Olympics.
And then our biggest
It's looking tough.
I don't know. I feel like they
We need no news at all.
to late to win a
I
championship.
thought we were gonna get DeMar.
I just don't think
He went through the camps like always gonna do.
Especially with the Beatles. I think they gotta move Beatles.
We keep talking about
territory if nobody wants to trade him.
Especially keeping the squad at this moment.
The rumors was don't get Jimmy.
From last year, Cam Reddish. Picking up Cam Reddish and getting Jackson did for us. Even Christian Wood didn't do that.
Because I don't know the picks that would have been bad. Maybe the right pick for that was all worth it.
Whoever that is, but I think it's just like
Also got a new coach that's got to kind of like get everything right for the beginning of the season and to put like expectations.
They would do is hooping. You can know that. Not do anything.
Love the example he set for
the Lakers.
Black athletes
They're playing
around the
with
world, especially young superstars coming in at early age.
Too much pressure.
But Bronny being on the Lakers dominated everything. And then you go and you get
took
AJ
over all
Redick.
the media.
And then it's like Bron and them coming out saying he'll take less if y'all get what y'all need. But then it's like we not taking less as soon as y'all check out.
It's just a shame that we have 2 of like the best players in the NBA like on our roster. Especially watching this and seeing LeBron still do his thing, Anthony Davis being just like a defensive monster and still be effective on the offensive side. Like, that is 2 players that can help you win a championship. It's just the other players around it are not players.
Yeah, the expectations for the Lakers are always going to be championship of us because they have a 39, almost 40-year-old Brown. I just think that the fans need to realize that the contention thing is probably dead as of right now. And based on all the conversations, they're really buying into developing next person, developing the young guy. They're starting to turn to the point where they're playing their team like a normal NBA team instead of the Lakers. The Lakers have always been a team who's going to win a championship by any means necessary, while these other teams like, no, we're going to draft and we hope that we can develop our 28th overall pick. That just hasn't been a Laker way on some time. And again, part of that is because you have 39-year-old LeBron. But fans just have to recognize that, hey, this is not a championship level roster, but there still can be some greatness that happens.
They had hope. Like
has said, winning is the priority. And I think y'all, the fan base, y'all still y'all gonna be a little hard.
And I mean, last year we got in the first round. So it's like we had that little bit of success. Yeah, we can't beat Denver.
You did once?
As long as AD performs, I
So
think
like,
be
I feel like y'all
aggressive.
put yourself up like this said. We got out in the first round. We did go
Him and Bam is doing
Y'all
some work in the Olympics. That's what we need to pick up Bam.
I don't know.
It's just because it's the Lakers and it's Bron.
If the Phoenix
it'd be another pretty much non-shooter, but shoot, defense.
Normally you want to get there, but we damn near.
Yeah, he was shooting though.
Kind of got right down
He
the air
was
because it was
shooting,
4-1.
which he usually doesn't do.
Those games was a lot closer, but it was hard to kind of get that feel of the year that the Timberwolves just had because it ended such a way.
Yeah, he surprised me.
So it's
the Clippers got them lost 4-1 as well. Well, they get swept. They got swept or they lost 4-1?
Who?
They lost to the Suns. The Clippers?
I think it was 4-1, but they didn't have Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
So them getting Paul George dragging them there made them feel good. Everybody thought was going to.
But like those games against the Suns, they were a lot closer than
Did Paul George drag him? Did they only have to win one more game after the last week this year?
No, I think they won 2 games because you got the Terrence Mann game, and then you also have a Paul George game, I believe. Paul George had a game. Maybe it's in the Western Conference Finals. Paul George had a game where he backpacked them boys, and he almost had 2. But I don't know if y'all remember it. The line. The 8 yeah. But in that game, he dragged them, but he also missed a key free throw. I remember that game. So, yeah.
They won 2 games.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good not having Kawhi.
Don't easily Paul George because Terrence Mann had the game.
Y'all remember the closeout game where Chris Paul shot perfect from the field?
Did he?
Not in this series, but he did have 41 in that closeout game versus the Clippers.
I wish the Lakers had that.
41 was off sleep in 7th grade.
I want to see y'all go get that piece because I feel like y'all have.
You don't remember?
Wait, what happened?
Talk about the closeout game from Chris Paul, 41 points against the Clippers.
I don't remember doing that.
I vaguely do. I remember that. What happened?
Damn.
And what year was that?
2021.
I vaguely remember that because I think they brought up another series. It was like,
hey, you know what's funny? Chris Paul is a great player. Don't let Twitter tell you otherwise. He always has been. And I can't say he always will be because God knows he wasn't last time.
Anybody going to get their basketball information from Twitter on that type of thing? The only basketball
information. Shot the 42,
That's one of my favorites.
I thought it too now. Let's go with the Dallas Lakers. I got to defending
I thought, what does involved Klay Thompson look like in this offense? I think that's the biggest thing. We know that they're really heavy ISO and everything like that. Just kind of make things happen with their playmakers. Klay Thompson could be a lot more of that in this offense. Like he could be used to create space for Kyrie coming off screens or something like that. I think Jason Kidd fits the pressure and how he's going to play Klay Thompson and make him play well.
How do you build off of last year? Like, how do you continue to ride that momentum and look like you're one of the best teams in the West the way you can make it to the NBA Finals? Like, you don't want that run that will be a run and you don't build nothing off of that. Forget about it. Like, you want to build off that and still look like you
that defense.
My question was about the defense. Like, how do you maintain it? They've been a good defensive team other than last year.
Did you hear the story? Well, I think it was Luka Doncic, or maybe it was Kyrie Irving. They said about it was February or March, and Jason Kidd just sat down and he's like, I really had to talk to him. Like, if we want to be where we're going to be, we going to have to sit down in that chair. And ever since then, they've been that better defensive team.
Yeah, that's my question. Who replaces Derrick Jones Jr. production defensively? Yeah. Who takes that assignment of, I got Jason Tatum, I guess. I got Anthony Orr. Is it PJ Washington?
That's just so tough to ask him to be able to go out all
who else is that?
Yeah, that's what they say. They put him on. That's probably person that can.
I read back on the defensive line to tag.
So they actually try on defense. Mostly everyone on defense.
Kyrie Irving talked up postseason for
it wasn't like the Kyrie
It was like, do y'all have a good secondary defender? No? Alright, I'm gonna do y'all 30.
Yo, do y'all have size guarding? It was almost like that. Booker with his USA team. It's like it ain't always had a high production numbers, but it felt like he was trying to do everything. And I respected that for Kyrie. Because it's like, yeah, a lot of guys with his offensive ability, if they not having those games, then they can he would still find ways to be effective.
You see him play at half and barely take like 2 shots. Yeah, and he's like, his averages in the first half were like 5 points. Second half was like 20.
Eventually, he's like, I need you in the first half too.
I guess he felt like he needs to preserve him. I don't know.
There has to be something there because it was a trend.
And it worked. They got to the NBA Finals. Whatever he was doing,
They usually stuff like that and try to get PJ Washington and all these other guys to look. So.
Another guy, like PJ Washington, he's going to be remembered for that one series for OKC. But people are going to remember the whole playoff run as being a great PJ Washington. He wasn't the whole playoff run. It was really just the regular season. All of them.
I was thinking about that.
No,
how often do we have like a player that we know needs to be able to hit this shot for him to play like in the postseason?
I think today's NBA is so many guys.
What is like PJ Tucker? I feel like PJ Tucker is a prime example where it's like working on that shot. You can say he probably took tens of thousands of shots in that offseason just on that shot. I think every team is gonna have one guy because the defense is gonna have to let someone get the shots off. Like is that Zach? Don't do nothing to work on his jumper and all that. You can go through every team.
Yeah, I agree.
Like Aaron Eastman's had a great shooting season, but I bet next postseason he's not about to be respected like he's JJ Redick or Klay Thompson. They're gonna be like, you have to make these shots to win this series.
Josh Hart getting his shot.
Oh, Josh Hart.
He's working on his shots right now.
I was literally thinking about that yesterday. I was like, Josh Hart had a crazy shooting on him.
He had never hit 4 threes in a game, and then he hit 4 3.
Shout out to us for renowned acquiring more talent and not putting pressure on him to be
after that next thing on here, Houston Rockets. My question is, who do you decide to prioritize?
They got the
They have a whole load of wings.
I put this
Cam Whitmore.
Dylan Brooks lose some of those minutes. He has 30 minutes a game in the season. He could be a trade. Yeah, he could. How much is he making? 20 more years? Not terrible. He could be a trade chip. But I was gonna say, yeah, just him losing them minutes kind of opened up a lot of opportunities for the young guys because they look like they're ready to go. Obviously, you brought him in for like his defensive purposes, but some other young guys can defend too. You know.
My question is, can someone take a star leap, or will the youth gradually grow together? And which one is the best way for early success?
I would have my youth grow together. I think honestly, continuity is one of the most underrated things. I think in terms of like building a team with like that winning type culture, because that's like we've been here before. We can overcome this. We can overcome when 4-star players. Yeah.
You taking both? Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
Min Thompson takes a crazy step.
Okay.
Like he's gonna be a top 10 player from step.
Okay.
Damn. Or all your guys gradually go together and it's just a bunch of solid
because it's hard to find a guy that could be top 10. I was actually going to ask the exact same question when you said you wanted to gradually grow. I mean, this is all hypothetical.
For me to go, because I mean, I respect the answer. You got to define that like gradually, like, are two drive 2 all-stars out of there, or is it like, are they just like the Atlanta Hawks? Like, I'd rather have that top 10 than like that Atlanta Hawks team, which is a bunch of good players.
But that's also what I mean.
Yeah, they didn't really grow together, but, you know.
They're all not going to be all.
No.
How do you look at them right now?
Like, who has the potential to be an all-star?
It's kind of like the season's going to be an all-star. It's not a down right. So it's like they all stand where they at right now, but they all are gradually getting better.
Yeah. I think it's also just they got the little context because I know some doing might not be an all-star. Jabari might not ever be an all-star, but he's a really good like starting player. You know,
how you go down the list. How you make it these guys have to be like that. They all get gradually better, but it's like
I think that if you just take a guy and he's going to be top 10,
Everything else can fall into place. I'll make the decisions about the other dudes later.
Yeah, if I get a Luka Doncic, then I'll worry about the rest of it.
Yeah, I think all those guys can still get better, but he's still maybe a top 10 guy. He doesn't.
And they don't even need to be that much better. Yeah, of course you want them to be the best they can be, but like, yeah, I agree. If you get that player and another three out of 9,
look at the clock. I'd rather have those problems with too much talent and try to figure that out. Not enough.
Like, let's go through the talent. You have Amen Thompson, Sengun, Jalen Green, Cam Whitmore, Reed Shepard, Tari Eason. I'm just naming young. Right. So then you add Jalen Green, Jabari. What? He said I'm only naming one, but you know the second oldest. Yeah, they got a good 8 piece right there.
AJ Griffin.
AJ Griffin.
AJ Griffin really fell out the rotation. He was such a good rookie.
Yeah, he's only 20. He's only 20 years old.
He had moments.
And then
we could have talked about. This is what I'm saying. This is what?
Yo, set it up.
3 minutes. 1 minute. Tyrese Halliburton checks in for the first time.
So why did we ever have a situation where Embiid and Tatum missed whole games?
We needed the mean.
You cannot justify that situation. You cannot. There is a such thing as doing too much as a coach, and he is one of the guys who.
Well, I think he probably had that gain of 1 and has now learned his lesson. Yeah, because as of right now, they're not playing.
Yeah.
Because in the first 2 games, again, I'm not saying this is just. I'm not justifying it, but in the first 2 games, we needed those wins, but we also needed to win by a lot to keep that, because point differential matters in this tournament. Right now, we win this game, we basically sweep our group. It don't matter if we win by 1 or win by 60. Okay. So let's just.
That makes a little bit.
Let's get Langston Galloway out there.
I still don't. I think
no disrespect.
I still think Nick Legend. Relax. I still think all of those. That's I've been through some shit. Langston Galloway's
the who?
Yeah, he got buckets for it. He got
Come on now.
But that's a tough time.
Yeah.
To look at the team now.
We had a game.
Yeah. Mario and Tom was stepping over him.
Yeah.
Like he eyed him.
I'll go to the next team again. Memphis Grizzlies. My fake question is why haven't you traded for Cole Vucevic yet? I think they have the potential to be a top 5 defense in this league this year.
Yeah,
that's a really good
probably survive in this league.
Right. Brandon Clark is starting? I'd rather have Zach Edey.
I don't know. It don't gotta be no hefty amount of minutes.
It can be. He led the league in college basketball.
But this is not college basketball.
But you're not asking him to do any. He has one of the most versatile defenders next to him, Jaren Jackson Jr. He'll never really have to do much other than raise his hand.
You need y'all to that you dig.
I don't think that. I think he helps that.
I mean, in the pick and roll.
They have to
I think he
respect.
immediately comes in as one of the best pick and rollers in basketball, or pick setters in basketball. He's 700 pounds and 7'4".
I'm just dropping him, man, because he's no threat to shooting. I'm living with Ja shooting before I live with him driving.
I feel like Ja.
That's the one thing I like about Ja, though, because even when you drop, he jackknifed his way to the bag.
No.
He don't get this. That's why I said it could be a little bit different. He don't be relying on his jump shot.
You don't want Zach Edey to start, so here's the trade. Nikola Vucevic.
I'm not saying he wanted to start. I just didn't know he was there. Like when you
I don't know. Yeah. I look at the depth chart. I think he's probably the best.
Yeah, I didn't project Brandon Clark to come in immediately start after coming off that injury.
He played last.
He played towards the end of the season, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Here's the trade, though.
What is it?
Vucevic goes to the Memphis Grizzlies. Javon Carter goes back to the Memphis Grizzlies. In exchange for Brandon Clark, John Contra, and D Rose is back in the summer. No for who?
I try to reach away to keep Brandon Clark. I try.
Vucevic is going to be a bull.
I try.
He'll remain a bull. He's going to retire a bull.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I hit him.
No, the last sentence is something wrong with
it. Let him just sit there and...
Hey, Mike, you saw they signed your boy?
Who?
Sharp got signed.
No,
Tall,
yeah.
got signed in real life.
Who's that too?
I can't remember.
But I seen him.
He signed a 1 year deal.
Oh, Dallas.
Dallas.
What's your operations question?
How do you not miss a beat? Like, you've been out of those, like, can you come back and still be the Memphis Grizzlies that we once known? Or is it going to be a sign of regression? Or, like, we don't really know how to gauge this team out west. We haven't really seen them compete with the talent out west, at least as current.
That was my thing. Is there really going to be any rush from a team that basically took a year off on that journey the last 4 years? It felt like it just kind of was not there last year.
They were banged up all year. Dallas was coming. Desmond Bain was hurt. De'Aaron was like they really had like a banged up year. Marcus Smart was doing the whole season.
Josh, first day out, game back. That's the same one against the Pelicans where the game won, yeah? First day out. First day out. Come on now.
Are you ready for the monsters at the West? It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. He said so similar to mine.
Yeah, they won 50 games 2 years in a row, right?
Yeah, but the West is good.
It's so much better now. I can't help but to be excited about this statement. Maybe I just miss watching Ja. That's probably a big part of it. But Desmond Bain was so underrated last season.
He was so damn good.
Jaren Jackson was
before too.
upgraded.
Desmond Bain.
His
Hey, when I
his
tell y'all to
isolation
start
touches and stuff.
people, y'all appreciate. Andrew Nemhard. When I tell you, you do it. Damn it. Alright? Draft day, I was telling y'all, one name. Trey Murphy. My boy 5 years later.
Took me 2 years.
I got another team. I put the Thunder. It seemed like Shea was ready. Like, this team was very similar. Like, Shea was ready for the playoffs and everything like that. The other people on the roster, they kind of showed their age. Like, this is going to be a year 3 Shea, though. Year 2 Shea. The roster doesn't match up to that type of, like, competitive competitiveness.
That's kind of the same question I said. Are they ready to be the best?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying, like, it's hard
they
to cut
could be
the pieces that put you like, all those are pieces that y'all needed in order to really get that.
They could be like the Celtics of last year, where they just run through this league all 82 games. They could just be just like, hey, we're head and shoulders above everybody.
Caruso and Dortmund is together. I love them. Oh my God.
Caruso, boy, yeah.
We was talking about Caruso and Lonzo minutes ago. They was playing how they was locking shit
added defense.
With Chet behind.
Caruso and Hartenstein.
Yeah, Boots behind. Now you got
What if they do
that
Jordan?
paint is
Caruso, Chet, and Holt.
oh, stop. And then they got
you do it on Caruso and
That's the hazard line. We just get
They're not going to let other people look for this. My question for them is, how do you 2 more threes? And 21st in the sense for third and percent. I don't think it's but like, I think that matters when we saw the playoffs. When the Dallas Mavericks were hitting all these threes, so they can really compete with the numbers. So we just need to get our volume a little bit higher.
Yeah, when you look at the roster, they don't really have that guy except Isaiah Joe. Isaiah Joe is
J-Dub is one of the best jump shooting players in the country basketball.
Was that during the season or playoffs?
Not definitely.
It's a difference when it comes to the playoffs. And they saying you got to hit that shot play. K-Star Wallace be knocking it down when you get to open look.
Yeah,
I like K-Star Wallace.
Maybe you can see a big progression from all the guys around. Like maybe Chet takes more.
They're always going to have a lineup of people that are at least 4 people that are
AC shoots 40%.
I will say no, but also feel like 38% you're super happy. I don't know if he continues to like 40%.
He was knocking that shit
He just
down.
takes smart threes.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
But also, he passes up some threes. I'm like, oh, what the fuck is going on? He goes swing it to Dalen Terry.
He's not trying to hurt his percentage.
See, I don't like that. No, that's not the attitude.
I talked to agents. That 40% is like a badge that you bring to the table.
That 40% gets you paid.
Just making it good. Nuggets. Rashard Nuggets question. I say, is there a world where they replace KCP and his impact on three-point shooting? The reason I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt is because it's the Nuggets. They sometimes, somehow, he found a way. I know last year, the Bruce Brown boy wasn't there, but they were competitive against the Timberwolves, man. The Timberwolves just turned out to be better than them down that stretch of that Game 7. But they were still a really, really good team.
For me, my question was, is this a team that we can look back at and say, the UCD was really doing some stuff?
Yes, you know.
Something special. Get torn apart, basically just because of financial reasons.
Something special? This was a dynasty.
There's nothing going on in the locker room. They all seem to be good playing with each other. They won a championship.
They like their coach.
Everything there seems like a team that you would be building something special, but now the league has these new rules that's like tearing them apart.
Yeah,
we haven't seen them like that.
We basically missed 2 years of them because of the injuries.
Yes.
And that was part of their window, unfortunately.
Yes, of course.
My question, I got one real question and one not so real question. Not so real question. Should we be worried about Jamal Murray?
No.
He don't have Jokic up there on Canada.
But even towards the back end of the play, like he had the 2-game winners versus the Lakers, which again you can't take away. But like he wasn't very good in the playoffs, like in its entirety this year. And then now in Team Canada, he don't do shit.
Imagine that. Imagine they lost KCP and Jamal Murray just not.
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say no. Like he's too good of a player to just kind of have like that's just who he is. Like we've seen him have 40-point games, 50-point games, and have like the best player guarding him, and he's kind of like doing his own thing. So just one bad playoff run, because also he was still hurt too. I think he had a knee problem too. I'm not gonna kind of write it off. That's part of it.
Jamal Murray has played hurt like his whole career.
That's what his dad had him out there doing push-ups.
That was the most I've seen it affect him, and maybe it was.
Remember 2 cases that his dad had him doing push-ups in the snow.
Yeah, that was the most I've seen it affect
Mind
him.
over matter.
He also had some crazy defenders on him too.
That's a part of being a guy.
He was doing curls until he got blisters on his hands and he started to bleed.
And then he took that blood and he used it as lotion.
His dad was just a villain. And turned out to be NBA
stories
up. Adam Morris said something on the Zach Lowe's podcast that I thought was very interesting. He's a guy that covers the Denver Nuggets full time. And he was just saying that in the previous years, including their championship year, their offense wasn't Jamal Murray and Jokic. Their offense was its own thing, and then you went to Jamal Murray and Jokic when times got hard, and there was no recipe for it. Where over the last couple of years, it has got to the point where that is option one, and that has prevented them from being the same explosive team offensively as previous years. And that was something I didn't internalize or think about in real time. So the question is, how do we get back to where that's not priority numero uno or number dos or trace, and you figure out the rest of the offense instead?
That's an interesting question, because I see a lot of their actions, like Jokic obviously does a lot of the ball handling, Jamal does, like Aaron Gordon runs a lot of stuff too, where it's not just like, you don't have Jokic coming off a down screen to get like, to start the action and everything like that. So I think it's really just like, you're going to need your team to all be on the same page. It's going to be hard to do without KCP, but to get back to it, I think you just got to get back to his sync.
I would love to see them have another explosive offensive player off that bench. I would have loved to have seen him be able to take a chance on like a young guy like Trey Mann or something. When he had no minutes with the Thunder.
Because when they feel the most dangerous, is when like MPJ got 25 or whatever. He lightened it up. Aaron Gordon got 20 because he can't do nothing but stop dunk. Like he can't do nothing but dunk.
Luckily, no, they do have Russ coming off the bench for that second unit.
They do.
So, like, I think Russ can make it so much easier for those younger guys coming off that second unit.
I feel about Dario Saric.
Like if Julian Strawther could get shit going, I would like that. He's a guy that could be an explosive scorer with his shooting and his fit.
Can we see Zeke Naji come back? No.
That's KB guy. KB be liking all these random people.
I sold all the stuff.
He can't play Dario Saric?
No.
Dario Saric be hooping. What are you talking about?
He just don't be playing because he tore his ACL.
Dario went to the Nuggets.
He can pass, knock down the
And
shot, guard a
Russell.
couple
Kind of pretty good for what they want to do, other than defensive.
They need a defensive
next
wing,
team,
though.
maybe
They lost Bruce Brown, and then they lost KCP.
I don't even know what that game. No disrespect to Zignaji, but
all right, he gonna average 22 this year.
I hope so.
22 minutes.
Let's start off with 22 minutes. But I'm good. I'm ahead.
There's a mode there. I like a 5-man or a big that can stretch the floor.
Clearly,
I guess I used to.
Yeah, I'm gonna say clearly that shit is overrated.
Yes, I used to.
Because you would love Vucevic.
I did love Vucevic when he was good.
The whole stretch 5 thing with him was such a stretch.
We all fell in love with that stretch 5 shit, but then I was like, Dirty Work Center is where it's at.
But then again, every center that we respect is like a stretch 5 center.
I love Nick Claxton. He ain't no stretch 5. You don't like Nick Claxton?
I don't love Nick Claxton.
You don't like Steven Adams?
I love Steven Adams. But I don't know if that has anything to do with basketball.
He's a Rudy Gobert stand.
Boom, my
He's
guy.
a Rudy Gobert stand.
Right.
But Rudy Gobert is otherworldly defensively.
So? He don't shoot threes.
He don't shoot.
That was our main point.
But he has one thing that he is one of the best in the world at.
You like Bam. You were just talking about Bam.
And guess why I like him more? When he's shooting these goddamn threes.
Which he don't really do.
Yes, he will. I talked to him. Talk to his mom, who call him Bam.
So I call him Bill. You call him Bam. A team out there, man.
Derek Lively, you love with the Mavericks this postseason.
Nope.
He don't shoot threes.
You tweeted about it when he hit that 3 in the finals, though.
Because he was stretching that floor.
That was just a
game. You talk shit about Chris Porzingis for years.
Prove it.
Oh, the hesitancy, because you like, damn, he's gonna do it.
For me, the Clippers, can they become the team that's forgotten out west? Post-trade, they might be this team that we see struggling to even make the play in.
The funny thing about them is I think they still could be a solid good team.
I think so too.
My question for them is the question that's always going to exist, whether Paul George came back, Harden came back, no matter what, is there a world where we can get Kawhi Leonard to play basketball? And he needs to be able to play enough in the season, but then also be available for the playoffs. That is the main thing. And I think this team can still be solid, but it's going to fall in that question. If Paul George had came back, it was going to fall in that question. Yeah, I replacing Paul George production, what does that look like? And what exactly are we getting from Kawhi Leonard on like being there type basis?
It sucks because he played 68 last year, and that was his most
and then we get no playoffs
since 2017, and then played 2 games in play or 1.5 game in the playoffs. It was like, damn, we complained about him not being healthy, then he was healthy.
He lost some games too. He literally came back and he lost some games.
I guess. He said it makes you like he was the guy. He got 0 for 12 with 7 turnovers.
But then it's like, yeah, you low manage all year, and then you're not in the playoffs.
But he's healthy though. Right. But if he plays 50 games, this team doesn't make sense. They need him.
My question was, if the Clippers are bad, like, what's the plan? Because they don't really have no young guys that are leaning towards. Like, it was really, they were all in on that roster. And after Paul George left, it was like, we just want to stay competitive. Let's bring these guys back. Let's sign him. They didn't have no plan.
Yeah, my question was when.
You're too slow.
I was still Kawhi. Davis 30.
Hey, yo, right here.
Yo,
I'm up.
the Zion and you are
I think Mike's team is really good. It just doesn't mesh as well.
Oh, it is cold?
Yeah, it's a cold at the end of the day. I think Mike's team is the same. This is from 2 episodes ago, by the way.
Yeah, Mike had 44%.
Yeah, I think it's fine. He's kind of letting higher than our episode, but I think it's good. That's right. But don't watch that episode. We'll go on.
Oh, yeah, shoot it. Take a rebound. Gotta get it.
The Clippers are bad. And this can always change it. I just don't see Kawhi like with James Harden. No. They're okay. Now you have one people got paid. There's no interest. But they go on him for 35
Get the perimeter. Pressure forward, man.
You would want, today, that's one of the fucking last thing in my videos too. Is like, honestly,
Yeah, you're right. If there's teams that you need to have that. Yeah, but if you're the Clippers,
I think that's player that's young player.
But it's no cap, though, because it's not like he's going to be an all-star. Like, he's going to be some superstar there. I think we try to get back because we gave up everything in 2030.
What?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You can trade for MPJ. You can trade for MPJ and get your draft capital from that. And then you can flip MPJ for even a few more draft picks. I like MPJ.
We just made the Clippers shitty again after they made the arena. Now they back to the.
I like the theory of trying to be competitive for 1 year because it's the first year of the arena and then blowing it up.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to go to the arena, bro.
Me too. Because I came to that for kids.
You know that every seat has its own charging port? Yes.
Like, it got the port already?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Probably like port. And they also said that if you download the app, you're going to get it. Like, literally.
That's crazy.
We gotta go. Yeah, for sure. We definitely. Because we gotta go. We're going to be in LA. I feel like we go to LA at least once a year. And we just got to pick up a game. I cannot change this channel, by the way. I've been to
San Francisco All-Star.
San Francisco is All-Star.
That's not even no All-Star. We got to get our Google on. Speaking of San Francisco, the Warriors. The question is, do we do the Warriors? No, we didn't do the Warriors. Again.
How we talking about
what version of Willie do we get? Or is it Pods or Kuminga? Someone has to take a significant step and help Curry.
Because Curry, he about to carry that team. He's going to have to carry that team.
Capitalize on a step for a time. I'm like, are they going to, is there still more moves that they potentially want to try to make? Because, like, right now, they didn't do anything about it. They can win.
They got Kyrie. Right here. I thought they had, all things considered, had a decent offseason.
Yeah, but also, Klay Thompson's gone. Buddy Hield's not the Klay
Which one is it? Did they have a solid offseason or did they do nothing? You always be I named the guys that they picked.
I think Luka Klay Thompson.
I named some of the things that they did and you sarcastically was like,
yeah, they okay. Those are good players, but you're talking about being able to fit that system that they built. Klay Thompson was the second best guy in that system. Like, he literally created one-on-one. Now you earn from anybody Hield, and I just don't really. Nah, the sexiest fit for me.
I don't know how much Buddy's going to make it matter.
I feel it after the 76ers. Who's watching him?
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. I wouldn't be surprised.
No.
The first one, I'd be happy being 31
because they stepped on after the game.
He's going to actually put pressure for the first time of his life.
I love it. You deserve 2 steps.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Make them boys. He's putting pressure. Stop pressure. So.
That was so sad when this was like what's more insane playing with Kevin Durant. It was like when Klay Thompson leaving. Like he was about to break down, talking about, man, Klay, we just been through everything, and it showed all the moments of them winning together, smiling and happy. I'm like, the fans really didn't look up, bro. Ain't no more partial doing this.
It's definitely a great fielder, but the man's still kind of
it ain't no two.
Iggy's gone. Because he's part of it.
They still got Steph. I mean, Steve Kerr.
They still got Steve Kerr. They managed.
What other teams are left? Minnesota?
Yeah. This was the toughest one for me.
Mine was just Rob Dillingham ready to contribute.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, mine is this the last year of this year.
Wow, they just got together.
No, financially, like, do ownership continue on to pay the luxury tax if they aren't actually winning championships?
So crazy that's a real reality that might happen. Things really good. They're like, we don't want to pay that. So we're going to trade an all-star for 2 role players that don't make the same amount of money just so we can be significant. We didn't do that. Let's stay on Minnesota. Because they invested a lot in Rob Dillingham. Like a 2031 first round pick is like pretty important.
Yeah, who knows what they look like.
Exactly. Especially if they didn't have anybody there that they really like having that.
Is that what I'm protecting? Or is it the other one? I think one of them protecting.
Either way, it's just like that's
it is a gamble, but if that gamble pays off,
if Rob turns out the player that some people think he can be, worth it 100%. Yep. If it's less than that, then maybe not so much. But I like the bet though.
Yeah.
I like the bet a lot.
I like that they were refs. I was not expecting a move from them on draft night, and that's not nowhere in draft night. They called us off.
They did.
Yeah, in the moment, it was like, it's the first game.
The explanation behind that was
like really minimum contracts or rookies. Rookie
I was in the ideas like that. Like the Minnesota called, over the Spurs called Minnesota.
You gotta watch Hard Knocks. The Giants, the New York Giants are on Hard Knocks right now, and it's like the Bears start Tuesday, and they have Giants. The offseason is really just like
it's the episode where the Giants called 6 points.
Oh, I thought you said, did you hear what they called?
That's what I thought too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they said they didn't offer him so much money. Get it going! But like in that, they're in the draft in the world, and they called it. They called him the pick of the first. They're like, "Hey, are you still looking for the 50 defense?" And the Patriots like, "I think we're okay with sitting in the And then when they got to their pick, they had told other teams if player A or player B are not on the board, we're interested in trading them away. So it's very cool to see on the world and see how those trades actually happen. But the guy that they on the board,
Will they do NBA stuff too?
No.
Oh. We need the NBA version.
But like, I think they said they was filming that.
There's somebody.
I swear they was doing about like they're filming the Celtics like not the offseason, but like they got filming the Celtics like in the locker room and all that stuff. The Hornets did it.
The Hornets. Yeah, they showed they were talking about Reed Shepherd and Clean.
I need to see that.
Yeah,
it's on YouTube.
I feel like a couple teams been doing it.
That's really good content. Honestly. We always are curious exactly. This video I'm looking at is okay. Minnesota's done. Next team, NOLA. I put just Brandon Ingram and Morgan like helping them to stay on the roster.
Yeah, that was more so like how do we make still have the like Trey Murphy has shown you some of the flashes of that he can be the next lead up his perfect next guy on. And then John Canova, I think he plugs in perfectly there. I just don't know how much of the second is got a ball there.
Too many bats.
I think Brandon Ingram is now you talking about Dante, CJ, Hurd, Ingram, Trey, Zion. There's no plug in that. There's a bunch of guys I think drive what they go for the ball.
And I still want to see Jordan Hawkins. He had a stretch injury year where I thought he was
It wasn't to me that he's couldn't bring him to but it's just literally you got a guy that's type to manage 25, 30 minutes a game, all kind of like on the front.
But if this raining, are you getting somebody back that also is going to do that? So it's like,
I just think they would want to because we're going to start getting tight this season.
Because I don't see us.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, it's happening. I don't
That's
see
what I was thinking too, man. Because they bought him a big man or something. They're going to do a small ball run. Starting. Zion, Hurd, Trey.
I remember that day, too. That was kind of remember that? Sacramento Kings, we kind of got to it a little bit earlier in the show.
We talked about that.
Yeah, but not during. It was.
Oh, you're right.
What happens if the DeMar DeRozan signing doesn't put them back top 5 offense? because they were middle of the pack. The idea is to buy into the offense. If he doesn't help you get the top 5, then what exactly does he do?
We can kind of stuck, at that point. Because I really don't, they don't want to trade De'Aaron. No, I don't think they want to move Sabonis. It's like, we just got the money.
Yeah.
What else are we going to be able to move?
But it's going to be stuff around. Because Keegan, I don't see Keegan going anywhere anytime soon either.
I would keep Keegan, Sabonis, and Fox together as long as I possibly could. And our new boy, Devin Carter.
Oh, yeah. Gotta keep Devin Carter.
Henry might have a red shirt season.
It's a nucleus there, though. But it's just sad because, like, you want this thing to just be a playoff thing. Just the reality where it's not. And yeah, that was questioning it. Tough. You like Christian Watson?
I don't have him. I don't even.
Who's Christian Watson? Plays for the Packers. Who are you?
Oh.
What are we doing on this draft?
Fantasy draft? Y'all let me know. Do I get first pick about my league?
I guess. If that's what you're doing,
first. I'm sure. Because people do actual competitions for draft order.
No thanks. Nobody actually ever. Whenever we say let's play for money, it goes.
That's a problem.
Because y'all be broke.
That's a problem.
I said let's pay for a band, and everybody just laughed at the music.
I'm not gonna play for it.
Yeah, like we could do like 250 each. I think everybody could.
We got to make it somewhere to put guys like Kyrie football people. Or John. Is John a football guy? Is John a football guy?
John last year in the draft, he was at KD house, and I said, I'm about to pick up this QB. Who was like, you wouldn't even pick him up. He was just not even in like the same round as like where the draft should be. And John is just picking him up because he just heard the name. You don't know nothing about football.
John and whoever else is a part of that. Tyler wasn't in it.
Caleb was in it.
Caleb was like, yeah, the Caleb's and Tyler, are they going to, like, what price would they want to participate in?
Was Reese in our draft this year?
Yeah, he was.
Reese was in our draft.
Well, we did.
Maybe it's like $100.
$100.
Miles was in our draft.
The winner essentially comes out of the top. Yeah. That's a nice little come on.
And it'll also get people to care. You don't want to lose. I just feel like every time we do fantasy, everybody cares for 2 weeks, and this is across all sports, and then nobody cares.
It's harder for that.
You know what ruined it for me? When I was during COVID, and like we had our league and it was going so good, and then COVID was like we had to sell somebody up every day. You had to be on the waiver wire because like all across the fan base. Who was the next defense?
It's hard for me.
100%.
Baseball, we try to do the thing. I didn't like too much on that. That was I got too much shit on day by day to do every day.
But you know, baseball is Monday morning, Tuesday morning, you have to look at the weather. You know, you right now, I'm thinking right now.
Am I in every?
I don't think so. Oh yeah, that's a crazy question.
I joined because Chance put in the chat. I joined it, but then I got kicked out.
We weren't gonna do some baseball.
All right, let's finish up our thing.
The Sunday nights, I used to set my basketball
I just did a whole video about the Phoenix Suns, and my main question for them is, how do they add some creativity to their offense? They had an effective offense because you have some of the best scorers ever, but it wasn't very creative. And now that you actually have a point guard, I think you have the ability to do something.
Yeah. Essentially, that was my thing. I said like having the point guards now kind of bring a more smoother offense in terms of like you don't have those droughts where you have 3 people that can score the ball really well. You don't score for 6 minutes at a time.
Yeah, it was pretty much about the offseason. Like, were these the official moves that y'all needed? DeMonte Morris, Tyus Jones, like, was those the 2 pieces that y'all needed that could really set y'all up?
I think it was the best they could do.
Yeah, brought back Royce O'Neal on a good deal.
And sometimes the best you can do is still better.
Very true.
Maybe they just needed to do that. Better deal.
But then they're also incorporating an entirely new system with a brand new coach. So that, like,
and you still got Nurkic as a starter.
Yeah.
San Antonio Spurs.
There's no way to get out of that. There's no center that you could get that's going to replace Yusuf Nurkic right now. It's like you just bring it in.
Apparently, people don't shoot threes.
Okay, San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, for real.
San Antonio Spurs.
Can Chris Paul can start a winning coach in San Antonio?
Probably get the All-Star team.
Is CP enough, or will it show that the Spurs need a big major splash? Yeah. Where are they on the schedule of the
Because they're also pretty deep into it as well since the DeMar DeRozan, DeJounte Murray trades.
But it's the
like
they have it done. They have
that's what
Keldon
we were saying that they're in love with the Blazers. That's what we were trying to say about the Blazers. They ain't got that.
Oh, they don't have
hardcore cement.
Right. Scoop probably gonna get that. I think this is Scoop season.
I'm betting for my money on Shane, but I was hoping one of them figure it out. The last team I think is the Jazz.
What the fuck are y'all doing? What is the plan? How are we going into the? You looked up like you look at like the 2025 draft, and you still okay with potentially drafting 7th and 9th every year. Now again, it's all lottery odds, so you could have the 9th best record. But it's like if there's any season to sell on the Larry Marshall, who looks like he's going to sign an extension, shout out to him, to sell on even like College Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, this is really the time to do so. And what's going to happen again, if they don't do it this offseason, it's going to be like February now. Jordan Clarkson's on the right team, but we're also the 11th seed right now. It's going to be hard to catch up to the really bottom feeder team. But you know what? They wouldn't get it. The Western Conference is too crazy.
That's what I was thinking.
The highest they are is probably going to be 14.
Yeah, I was like 11th seed. I mean, they can like
they can be 14th at West and still have the 6th worst record because the Eastern Conference is going to have a bunch of ass teams. So I just want to see that move, Lowry. But again, I think it's kind of tough because he wants to be there, like. And it's hard to get people that want to be a part of a small market.
Well, they also have a price tag.
As they should.
They want 5+ first round picks. Kind of excessive.
I'd rather sell myself high than sell myself low to start it off.
Aim for the stars.
Yeah.
So if you fall, you land in the cloud.
I'm not coming out and saying we'll take 2 picks for Larry. I just can't. I'd rather try to get that much before I really just start going.
But this is the guy who signed contracts with Reed. So you know, he don't know to go in and say, I want $1 million, when in reality, listen, no, I'm sorry, we can't do $1 million, but we can do half $1 million. You know what? Because it's like a family house. You walk out like, I got what I wanted. Because, you know, looking at some of the contracts, I know Timothy Moscow and it's like, his ass is on crazy. They came like, all right, dude. Like, whoa. Donald Johnson was like, look, I want $50 million. And Miami was like, I was like, wait. I was just doing shit. Y'all really need $50 million? You got Donald Johnson getting threw off. That's a lot of money for a talent crab. Boom, yeah. They was in them over like
business history about that.
About like those contracts.
Hey, I was like, hey, we'll start there. Because they're going to probably come to 8 like, Oscar,
74? Yeah.
I want 74. I was thinking, players with a contract
What's the roll? Shoot it! Shut up! Hey, push it!
check out these deals of the week at Walgreens.
When was the deal? 27. About 2 weeks. I don't like that early. Like, let the motherfucker get his rhythm in. Ball. What are your expectations for a healthy football season? So Philly, without MD, they need a better team. They got PG now. It changes everything. It changes everything. PG instead of combined shares, more separation. Really from everything. PG's gonna pick them up. One more. He didn't have before, he has now, will change everything. He has to now adjust his game, of course, but he don't have to adjust his niggas ain't coming to show us. That needs the ball as well. It ain't just about you having. So Tyreek, they just got his numbers. They said 2 other motherfuckers. They said $200 million. So do you think that they want to just catch the name call game, dog? Whose team is it? That ain't the worst. Huh? Yours is mine. Okay. Melo used to have that ISO. We gonna give you 15 seconds on it. When his team started getting better, that 15 seconds turned into when he was on the Olympics, Melo didn't play with the ball. Straight shot. He got his punches quicker because he has better players around. He didn't have time to sit there and just sitting there. He comes in this bucket. All we're saying is just get to you. You don't have. You don't have. Like fuck all that shot. Let's do that. Instead of you having to buy. Make any 6 seconds. Doing what I'm doing. So why would y'all want me to do something else that's gonna take? So then what the fuck you need me to do it for 6 seconds? Because when you start doubling me, then I start dumping that shit off of y'all. Everything else is let me get in the middle of the floor. And do it well as he does. If I'm going to run fast, you gotta double fast. Yeah. Regardless of anything I do, I have to slow. You gotta double it anyway. If I know you're gonna take 13 seconds But Kelly Oubre can give me 19 though. Kelly Oubre gives me what he can't. It ain't got nothing to do with the opportunity. It's just this nigga can't hit. He hitting.
It ain't jump shots Kelly Oubre making.
He making threes.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
What did he shoot from the three?
Please tell me Kelly Oubre shot three.
Oubre, give me 1 second. Pretty sure he shot that bitch at a high clip. Like you're saying he should. You're saying he got a better player than he should have this last year. Shot 31% on 5 attempts last year. 5 attempts? Yes, 5 attempts. He almost shot 6.
And he shot 31%. You're talking about the whole clip.
Yeah. Oh, wait, with the 6 shot? How many threes? No. How many total did he take? But did he shoot?
He shot 31% in however many it is.
Yeah, he's still a 3-point shooter. What I'm saying is, he just didn't shoot well. Why can't you shoot well?
325.
3-point shooters have off seasons where they don't shoot well from the 3-point line. It doesn't mean he's not a 3-point shooter. He's not a 3-point. What did he shoot from the 3 last year?
What, this past season or the season before that?
Season before. Look at his 3-point.
32%.
Before that.
35.
32.
35.
So
33. He's not a 3-point shooter.
35.
He's not a 3-point shooter, Rashad. He's a slasher and a cutter and a player
Alright,
transition.
that's all for now. More later. I'll probably do a high school vid sometime this week. I'll fill one out. Been slacking for the past 2 days.
Yeah, 325. How many KJ?
Get back to it. But as always, DMP the Gamer out.
Give me 1 second. Entertain yourselves while. Nope, secure the